Hello guys, gals and non-binary pals, and welcome back to the Lioness Cup, brought to you by Women in Esports. We're gearing up today for the upper finals. It's going to be between Neon Blade and Beyblade Ninjas, and the loser will be heading down to the lower bracket, but the winner will have guaranteed themselves a place in the grand finals and at least £300 of the £1,000 prize pool. I'm here today with the wonderful, amazing, go-off slay queen girl boss duo of Hazza and Cairo, and I only want to know one thing before we get started today, guys. Who are you backing today? That's your cue.
Speechless. I'm speechless, honestly. Didn't know where to pick that one up, and after what was going on in the green room, I was expecting you to ask what our favourite Taylor Swift song was, and not that. So,
I'll
honestly,
ask you that later.
Yeah, cool. Look, plenty of filler. Yeah, I have absolutely no idea, to be honest, with you, Twiggy, because both of these teams look really good.
Oh, wow, that's so non-committal. Okay,
Cairo,
please. Cairo,
that
please.
is such a caster answer.
My bad.
It's like Kaz just came in and he's like, do you know what? I'm just going to sit in the fence.
You put me on the spot. You put me on the spot.
Do you know what? Because
that's your job.
Yeah, exactly. So I mean, it's simple. Beyblade Ninjas are going to win. Simple.
Okay.
I have to agree with Cairo. There you
go.
go.
Neon Blade then.
Now
Devil's
you can
advocate.
do
Yeah,
now
there
you
you
can do
go.
the other
All right.
caster thing where you just don't have an opinion. You just go with the opposite of what everybody else said. Amazing.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
We
Yeah.
love caster
great.
tropes.
Yeah, so good. You guys already off to a brilliant start with just making my job easy for me. So let's go for another one, because I think we're going to be here for a little bit waiting. So what is your favorite Taylor Swift song? Cairo, go. We were talking about this a little bit before we started. But...
Right. Listen. There's a bit of a backstory behind this, right? And
Yeah.
Hazza knows it. So I'm going to have to go with Anti-Hero.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, I respect that. I think that is quite self-serving, that song for you, Cairo.
Yeah.
You do tend to be a bit of an anti-hero at times.
Yes.
And you know what? It is a classic, but if we're speaking classics, let's say Love Story, you know? Let's roll it back. That one always hits.
Yeah.
And it's always hit.
Yeah,
For
and
sure.
I'm gonna go with You Belong With Me. So I'm in the same kind of boat as Hazza with the
Okay.
older songs. That's very much my speed.
Respect
Either way, I think we have a couple of things to show you in terms of the bracket. We can give you an overview of what is going on today. Here is how the bracket has shaped up over the course of the tournament so far. What we've got left to go here in the upper bracket: Neon Blade, Beyblade Ninjas, the two survivors here in that upper bracket. Unfortunately, my logo got dropped out immediately by Beyblade Ninjas. So you know what? I'll never forgive them. But at the same time, I have friends on that team, so I also can't be mean to them.
I totally respect it, Twiggy. But also on top of that, I think the other upper bracket semi-final that didn't get streamed, there was a little bit of an, I'd say in my opinion, an upset. I was expecting to see Alternate Attacks Ruby in this upper bracket final. So it's a bit of a surprise to see Neon Blade here.
Hazza, how are you feeling about the teams that have got through, the teams that haven't got through? Have there been any surprises for you? Anything that you didn't expect, or are we business as usual?
I think I just got to sit here and echo Cairo's thoughts. As again, you know, maybe I'm being the non-committal caster of the two, but when you look at it, Neon Blade, I don't think was a set of names we were expecting to see not only make it to the upper bracket final, but make it this far in the tournament. There's been some standout individual performances, and we can highlight that a little bit later on. But a team that was as well organized as Alternate Attacks, and even Gamax, I think, a little bit unlucky with Yukina not being available in that important play day, dropped down into the lowers. Some of the names that we've got here, it's going to be an absolute brawl that goes down off screen.
Yeah, of course. Obviously, the loser of this game is going to be dropping down into that last lower bracket game, who are going to go to the grand finals, but they're going to be coming up against one of the four teams that are playing again today, and then tomorrow we will see the game before the one where the team that's dropping down today will be playing, and then we'll be seeing that game as well. So lots of stuff to go. Obviously today we're not seeing any of that lower bracket. We will end up today, and hopefully we'll be able to give you an update on the teams that have made it through to the next stage, who are going to be playing tomorrow. But either way, it's going to be some interesting stuff. I think we're almost ready to get in towards the game, guys. Once again, are you excited? Who do you think are going to be some standout players for you today?
Personally, for me, I think that this is just a simple one to be like to kind of say, but probably Super Frog, just through the rollouts. And one player that I think maybe goes, well, maybe not unappreciated after the last game that they played, but Claudia, with the way that they're able to set up Super Frog, the assist that they were getting was absolutely insane in the last time round.
Yep. Has there anything from you, maybe a Neon Blade player, or are you going to go with Beyblade Ninja
no,
as well?
it is a Neon Blade player, and it's going to be Elysian. 299 average combat score so far on her Reina. Unbeaten with that pick at this point in the competition. Played Sky a couple of times against alternate attacks, but has just really been turning heads. And to be one of the top-rated players in the tournament, you have to give her a lot of credit.
Yep, that's great to hear. We're almost ready to go. So, guys, I think, is it about time for me to pass it over? Brad, I'm going to need...
We've got the map veto.
Okay,
right?
we've still got... Of course, the map
Yeah,
veto. That's what they
yeah.
said. It's fine. I'm listening. It's all good. Here is the map veto. Indeed.
Okay.
Breeze, Ascent, and Lotus. How you feeling about those ones? Different,
Yeah.
a little bit.
This one is a little bit different, but also at the same time kind of expected when you look at the history for both of these teams. Lotus currently the most played map so far in the tournament, at least for playoffs, clocking in at 6 times. Both of them have reps on it. The same goes for Ascent. Sunset getting banned early by Beyblade, not much of a surprise as Neon Blade have been using this as a pocket pick, but Breeze to kick things off, that has me excited.
Yeah, I feel as if I've got some like gourmet ham and cheese sandwich, you know? It's like yeah, no, but listen, it's still a ham and cheese sandwich, but there's like something extra that just makes it a little bit bougie, you know? Breeze being that bouginess, and I guess Lotus to an extent, because we love those maps, but I definitely think it's a bougie ham and cheese sandwich, this veto.
It's like, I've come in with the statistics and Cairo's like, yep,
It's a bougie ham and cheese sandwich, you know?
But everybody knows that Had is the brain and I'm the fun. Come on.
What, are you saying I'm not fun?
Yeah, you saying that.
Calculated fun,
whatsoever.
Cairo, calculated fun.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't even know where to go after that. You've completely, like, you've performed a clean wipe of my brain there. So
is
that
it like when you get winded, like the sports that you play?
Yeah, absolutely. I feel like I've had a concussion now, so we're just gonna fill the rest of the time out here with... Okay, but Lotus is a final map as well. I mean, we've seen that a lot. I feel like it's the new buying. How are you guys, you know, are we going to see any development of strats in there? I think for Beyblade Ninja specifically, their attack on that map was kind of scary. Do you think any anti-strats will be happening from Neon Blade?
I think in terms of anti and what both of these teams can prepare, it's going to be interesting how much they've put in. I know that, you know, there's a mix of like part-time players here, and these are both mixes as well, so like how much they can actually scrim together, how much effort they want to put in for this tournament, I'm not really too sure. As I said, there were games for both of them televised. We have an understanding of how they play. For me, it's going to be more about just like the macro game and who has the best read on what exactly is happening. Like you put it, Twiggy, we have seen at times Beyblade Ninjas just be really direct, and I think that playstyle suits them pretty well for the set of players that you've got coming in. But yeah, I think it's tough to call, right? It's one of those ones that'll very much be calculated on the fly because Neon Blade are equally as good at doing that.
For sure. Cairo, obviously the brains have spoken. Now it's time for the fun. What do you think about that?
I think they'll shoot. No, really. No, listen. No, on a real one though, both teams have a coach, so within that space of a week, there's plenty of times to have a look at these VODs, to have a chance to. But I think at the same time, you can't really stray away too far from your own strategy, and you don't want to get you know what I mean, so focused on what's going on the other side that you lose focus on what you guys are doing. I think as well, we've also got to address the fact Neon Blade are playing with a sub, Scarlet coming in. How quickly could they get them up to speed and playing? So that's another aspect that Neon Blade will have to try and maneuver around. Yeah,
for sure. Well, I'm running out of things to talk about, so let's go back to chatting. I think we're an update on what is going on. We have had to have a little bit of a delay on the start of the game. It's fine. We'll get there in the end. It just means that I have to rack my brain for other things to occupy these guys with until they get to the shouty part. So, what do you guys think is the best, filler? We've already done Taylor Swift songs.
Just to go back to the conversation of the actual game really quick.
Well,
I
that's
think
boring.
no, sorry, but
Come
a
on.
point that we should make now with the knowledge in mind that it's Scarlet subbing in is
Yeah.
that while Ori is, you know, a great player herself and a necessary component of Neon Blade making it this far, you are bringing in a player which has experience playing in the main circuit
True.
of VCT Game Changers
Yeah.
for the last 2 or 3 splits. Not only that, I think a big talking point has to be the fact that these are 2 completely different roles. Scarlet by
Yeah.
trade is a duelist, and you're replacing the Sentinel player.
Yeah.
What exactly the compositions are going to look like has to be something that we're thinking about coming into this.
Yeah. Do you think that's affected the map veto in any way? Obviously, Sunset was kind of one of their big ones, but it was banned out immediately. We don't know if they would have picked it this time. Do you think that Breeze is a reaction to that in leaving that one open? You know, maybe it's a more duelist-heavy map. You want those longer sight lines. Do you think anything came into that in terms of any of the maps that we're going to see today?
I think like when you consider it, especially on the Sentinel front, Chamber extremely viable on Breeze
Yeah.
could be an option, and I definitely can understand the thinking behind it. As for whether that actually is the case, though, like I mean that's anybody's guess.
Great. That's another non-committal. You guys are really good at those. You guys are
Oh,
really,
yeah.
really good at those.
Really
yeah.
good at convincing people.
Yeah.
I mean, Kara and I, we're committed to one another, so what other
Aw,
commitment do you
that's
need?
so cute,
There you
guys.
go.
You've got the same headset. You're
Yeah.
basically wearing the same colours.
Yeah.
It's
Actually,
so
we've got the same mixer as well, so we
Yeah,
really
we
are
do.
down to a T.
You guys
It's
are
a great
cute.
mixer too.
a
It
great
comes with a
one.
picture of an anime girl in the box
Yeah.
for free.
When is it my turn? Okay.
You can buy it off Amazon if you want. I mean, I'm happy
The
to give
mixer,
you the,
yeah.
the
Essentially,
details.
yeah,
Or
yeah.
what? Or to become the picture. Or
no, no, okay, don't worry, guys. Okay,
Your
anyway.
One thing I was gonna say though, I found it really interesting that Neon Blade. Oh my god, I couldn't get that out there. Neon Blade actually left Ascent open, which, let's be honest, that there has been nobody who has even made it slightly close on Ascent.
Yeah, no, the map vetoes from everybody have been remarkably similar
Yeah.
up until this point, and I do think that is an interesting one to keep open. Do you think that it's going to be over in a 2-0 for anybody, or do you think we're going 2-3 maps? So obviously, we've kind of avoided them like the plague here on the stream. We've kind of avoided 3 mappers completely. I think Billy was talking about how, you know, we've somehow got all of the 2-0s on stream, and everything else has been 2-1s. So do you guys think we'll finally get there?
I'm hoping maybe we do, because realistically, in terms of schedule, we've got a really open one tonight. It's
Yeah.
only one BO3, but I don't know if we'll get there because of the sub.
Hazza?
I think the context of this first map is going to be really important. It's the
Yeah.
pick of Neon Blade. You come in on Breeze. Beyblade Ninjas get to start on the attack. You've got to deal with quite a lot of firepower. How they handle that in the opening stages will go a long way as to what this series looks like.
Okay, well, we're about ready to get into the game finally. Sorry to keep you guys waiting, but here we go. Hazza and Cairo, take it away for me to start off here on Breeze.
Thank you so much, Twiggy. Look, working with a host is so nice. You know? It just makes our life so easy.
I feel as if it's like when one of your parents go and make your food for
Okay.
you. You know, you just have
Yeah.
to eat it.
No, I was wondering where you were going with that, but you have hit the nail on the head. Yes, again, this is the parental figure link that you're making with,
Yeah.
with Twiggy like you did last time out. But let's talk about the comps, right? We're into Agent Select now, so we might as well. Looking over on the Neon Blade side, they're opting into this this double duelist setup, Cairo.
Yeah, I mean it's respectable. I don't think I don't think it's too crazy, to be honest. Like when we think about Breeze and you think about how it is generally played, there's not a lot of. I feel as if the impact of these movement duelists, you know, your Euro, your Jets, your Razes, isn't too massive as compared to like your Ascents or your Binds or whatever. So I can understand the impact that Arena
Yeah.
could have on a map, and I think we've even seen that from other teams. And the Jet being the open agent for this map specifically for Neon Blade is a must. Like you need to have either the Chamber or the Jet playing here because of those long lines of sight, and I understand exactly why they've picked this cup.
Yeah, Riri, of course, was playing the secondary duelist in the previous compositions that we've seen. She'll be picking up the slack so that Scarlet can move over onto the Jet. But here we go. The upper bracket final of the Lioness Cup. A clash of the blades. Sparks will fly, but who ends up making it to the grand final this Sunday is yet to be seen.
Worry about mid here, has it already looking at this. An interesting one to be brought out. Let's get on the board. Scarlet, thinking the first hit.
Yeah, Scarlet, the sub, the first to draw blood. Neon Blade setting the tempo from the defender's side. I like that from them. Dropping back into deeper angles, protected within the site. Happy to now concede this space that they have a player advantage.
That's well, obviously, for cutting off the rotates, not much for cutting off the lines of sight. So Neon Blade happy, happy to take on the fight.
Flashbang.
Yeah, you're seeing that Cypher utility start to get interacted with. Pressure on for Riri in the hot seat, a new role for her. What exactly can she deliver from this position? It's a kill onto the mirror pick, a swift 1-for-1. Keeps Neon Blade with that advantage. Need to hold on though, because Angel is getting pressured in mid, and the kills are starting to go the way of Beyblade Ninjas.
Taking the advantage in the wall up, so Sonya can actually escape. Her reposition might make this really bad for Scarlet.
The wall just about runs out of toxins, however, and Scarlet on hot form will pick up her second. Now a 2 versus 2. Both of the Neon Blade players retaking through the tunnel. Claudia to take the contact and a peek off the side of it. Needs not the help of her teammate, but Reina will finish off the job. Another clutch for her.
This was really important for Sonya to get that pick in mid. It can't be understated enough, Hazza. Just to get those numbers in favour of Beyblade Ninjas, then it was just about trading down. Even the micro of being able to put that wall up just for a reposition from Sonya, it's amazing. And so much information just from that one lurker in mid.
Reina, the only player left standing on her team, and an interesting stat to bring in early here is that while she has the lowest ACS in the whole of the playoff stage so far, she has the highest clutch percentage. So in terms of those impact kills, she has been delivering and will step up on that front once more. A little recon glitch there. Yana happy to take the space.
Look at the
It's a triple stack of players here in Elbow, Cairo.
Yeah, I was going to say, look at the proactiveness. You've got the camera to take information in mid, and that's exactly what we're seeing, just occasionally tapped on. So you've got so much information for Neon Blade to realistically make the decision. This should be an E hit.
Neon Blade will be playing for the retake in that respect. They've already given up a lot of space inside the site, and while you can send in a snake bite and put the poison cloud up, no real capitalization off the back of it. An information gain, players revealed towards orange, trap set up for the flank. For all intents and purposes, Beyblade Ninjas should be walking away with it. It's how much damage Neon Blade can do.
There's not much on the side hold. Well, as the players try to come in through mid, they're completely swamped out. Just got the Reina left, which is nice damage, but it's going to be an easy pickup, especially when you've got players on, I think one of them was on a ghost, but never mind, it's easy pickups anyway.
Nice to see a couple of those Guardians come through as well. It's going to be 4 rifles for Beyblade Ninjas into the next. A resolute bonus buy for them here. I'm pretty certain that it is Elysian on this Reina, right? Called Jana in game, but again, a ridiculous tournament from her so far. You look at both of these teams, and they have 2 players each inside the top 10 for VLR rating in the tournament. Highest rated player overall is Yukina, playing for Gamax. Have to see if she can join one of them in the lowers later on. But for now, we look at this one, and it is Elysian that will get on the board early. Super Frog down.
I love how these duelists are playing together, looking to frag off one another. Jana, or Elysian will be the one to pick that up, and it just seems to be consistent ones gifted towards their opposing team. Neon Blade have control of the spike as well, so it's going to be tough for Beyblade Ninjas to fight their way back.
Lots of individual duels taken from this point in time, while Scarlet gets clattered to the back of the head. It is a quad kill from Elysian here. Neon Blade registering their first in the upper bracket final, and it comes through that player we expect to be heavily involved this evening.
Yeah, exactly, and I mean, I worry about Beyblade Ninja's plan there. Again, we were talking about it, a lot of ones already taken. I feel as if that initial fight taken by Scarlet and Elysian probably caught them off guard, and that's where everything started to go wrong. Especially with the fact you're like, oh, there's 2 in elbow, so let's go and push the site. There can't be more than 1 on site, and it just didn't work out. The rotate was too quick, and yeah, I think that's what ended up happening.
It does certainly feel like Neon Blade, when they found success, it's catching Beyblade Ninjas off guard with some of this aggression, and they look to pull a role reversal in that aspect. Riri, lots to deal with, but crumbles under the pressure this time. Not a single kill delivered. That will put Beyblade Ninjas into a very strong post plant. Time to reposition behind the toxic screen as well.
I wanted to see how strong it is with that extra pick. That'll be extremely strong. No more smokes for the defense to get on site.
A couple stray bullets find their way into mid, and again Neon Blade continue to hit the deck. They fall like dominoes. Scarlet stepping into the server and finding a couple kills. Couple kills won't give you the round, however. It looked to be flawless for Beyblade Ninjas. They still walk away with a third.
Yeah, the Viper's on 5-1. Has a Rhino is really popping up here. Close to an ultimate as well. So that's one to be keeping an eye on. But in terms of ultimate, Scarlet on the Blades actually upgraded up to the AWP as well. And we've also got the Hunter's Fury and a Neuro Theft. Obviously, the Hunter's Fury more of a post-plant ultimate, or even clearing space, a lot more effective than that of the Neuro Theft. But don't underestimate the usage of it if you get a pick.
Reyna taking that personally. The statistics. Not easy to engage herself with that one. Scarlet on the early fight gets completely outdone. Superfrog can unravel the A defense, and it all sits on Elysian's shoulders to provide from this position once more. Non-committal in that aspect, but a tag allows Sonya to pile on the pain. Another frag found.
No way, and an extra tag on
That's
towards
crazy.
Arena. So you know that there's been at least 2 on that site, and it's even dragged a rotation out. That's a crazy ultimate.
We're talking about Lotus, most played map in the tournament. How much is that macro going to come into play? But when we're speaking of directing these executes, Beyblade Ninjas look to be puppet masters at this point. Liza as well holding on. The Cypher on the other side, Riri, I mean, losing her life yet again, expending the B site. This is going to cost Neon Blade to save, and Sonya might not even let them get away with it. She won't. 3 to turn it flawless. Beyblade Ninjas up to a 4th.
I thought Sonya was going for the operator there, but I mean, with the operator lost, you've got to be thinking, how's Scarlet's creds? How's the rest of the team's creds? It's not going to be too great. Unreal attacking half so far from Beyblade Ninjas. Getting the pistol round and now starting to really rack up these rifle rounds. If you're on that defensive eco-cycle hazard, things start to get really tough. How do you bounce back? How do you make things even doable? I guess you've got the blades from the Jet this time round. That's something to think about.
Again, this was always going to be a trial by fire, and it's exactly what we were speaking about on the desk as well. Yeah, you've picked into Breeze, but what can Neon Blade deliver for us here from the defender's side? Because Beyblade Ninjas work almost cut out for them in many senses. So many jewels being taken, just looking to offset some of that momentum here. It is a low buy round, but HP already stricken for Angel in that opening encounter.
I mean, in the opening encounter, though, you've got to think of how many you've seen. You saw the Reyna through double doors, you saw the Jet and the Sova up towards Nest, so Beyblade Ninjas have a really good idea of how this map looks.
Yeah, and again, I think sometimes people will overlook the value of targeting certain sites, and thus far, I think Riri has struggled to contain the B presence that Beyblade Ninjas have shown. They've worked through that conditioning, test towards the B choke, and realign themselves for this A hit. Reyna has already found so much space for them to scale off of.
This is absolutely beautifully played. Claudia just needs to be careful of this switch position with it being open. Isn't, but Claudia still reacts quick enough. Now you see the last couple of players out towards CT, so Beyblade Ninjas can set up the post plan.
Poison's off.
Beyblade Ninjas looking to compound from this position as well. Reyna is lining up to find a couple. Riri, the shots connect though. Puts her brave face on. tries to find something back. It's a 4 versus 3. You've got pretty heavy mid presence here for Beyblade Ninjas. Frog is low, the headshot more than what is required, but again, just the weaponry not quite cutting it in that kind of an affair. Beyblade Ninjas up to a 5th.
Manoeuvred it quite sufficiently, Hazza. I know they lost some rifles towards the end, won't hurt their pockets too much, but already you're starting to see the macro from the Beyblade Ninjas.
Yeah.
You know, like, seeing that there's 3 players in mid with a stack more towards B, assuming that the Cypher would also be there, they show that initial pressure onto the B choke, and already Reina's scaling up that A site after they rotate off. And then the post plan, it literally is just cut and dry Valorant, simple as it can be, and they played it again to the best they could.
4 of these last 5 rounds have resulted in that B finish, and it looks as if Beyblade Ninjas are going for the same thing here. No command to try and fake out. The pack of players will continue to move along elbow, but they're spotting so much, and they're jumping the spike as well. A double for Scarlet. Neon Blade just about sticking in front, and the biggest part for them about all of this is they know where the remaining 2 players are on the opposite side.
Yeah, but how does it look with the hold of the spike, Hazza? I'm not quite convinced by how they're setting up here.
Feels as if you almost have to concede the spike from this position.
Yeah.
Only healthy player is Angel, first to take the fight and first to fall. Scarlet looking to follow it up, and she's the next into a shallow grave. A triple from the Swiss Army knife of Claudia, cutting open Neon Blade, and at least giving a 6th. Now it's how many more can you get?
I mean, I pointed it out straight away. I didn't get enough time to kind of break it down as to why I was worried about that, the way they were trying to hold the spike. But the Sova's got to completely face, nowhere to run from that position.
Yeah.
It's either one or you're done. And that's essentially what happened. The jet was already low. I mean, like, maybe some util or like kind of see the presence drop off from that point.
I think one of the biggest assets that you're going to have in that situation is that the spike is out in an open position, and Beyblade Ninjas have to interact with some really hard clears to get that information back. You're completely right. You want the low HP player peeking first, so you have higher trade potential. The way that was played a little bit messy, and I think Ari Frost coming into this timeout will be making their thoughts clear about the matter. There are 2 sides to the coin as to how that last round goes. Again, you're seeing Beyblade Ninjas trying to, fake away from this B, just manipulate the amount of success they found towards the left-hand side of the map. And for Neon Blade, it's playing vicariously through Scarlet and Elysian. If they don't pick up those kills, then everything falls apart.
100%. Looking into this one as well, there's a few hero rifles being forced into. So whatever the coaches spoke about in the timeout, there's a plan, there's an idea. But interestingly enough, as you said, they're not setting up the duelists with the rifles. Or I thought they were.
Well,
no, actually, never mind. Scarlet's on one.
You've left one towards both sides of the map. Scarlet with one, and close to getting those blades online. It's a risk you're willing to take. Walking into the drone up close, touching within the smoke, peeking out, looking for more. She sprays down a couple, and Elysian can deal what feels like the final blow, the penultimate one. Liza, 1 versus 5. A real test of character, and while she amounts to the first, that may be the last.
Especially with that low HP. I mean, any more kills and neural theft, it is doable in some sense, but you've always got to be worried about that health.
The biggest factor playing against her right now. A couple cages to alleviate the pressure, but Neon Blade will not budge from this kind of position. They are being so diligent in holding, and Angel finishes things off. A couple upgrades to go around, and a very nicely played round by Neon Blade.
Force works out, the coffers get that a little bit sweeter, that little bit heavier. Hopefully that doesn't weigh them down too much. The ultimate's starting to come online as well, but on top of that, I'd argue that there's better ultimates online for that of Beyblade Ninjas. Yes. Claudia's already halfway towards theirs as well.
Biggest thing there is just putting the rifle in the hands of Scarlet, having something towards the other side of the map as well. Facilitating your individuals, because it has been playing well for Neon Blade so far when they've been able to get those fights where they want them.
Yeah, Scarlet been playing better on the rifle as well. No op brought into this one, a little engagement in mid. nothing, no reaction from the B side, which allows the players just to scale up so quickly. Wall just to allow them to escape as well, Hazza.
Sonya is droning up behind it, and like you say, no operator here. You know, some would scratch their head at it, but I think it must be said, having Scarlet be that much more flexible
down,
on
mid.
the jet,
I got the spike.
it has been an asset to them so far. Peak taken and fight won by Angel. An important opener, and just alerting Neon Blade that top mid has been conceded, perhaps calling a rotate, crisp as you like from Superflog, then go blow for blow in the fragging department, and even then some. Liza cracks open the B side.
You need to be careful about the mid luck as well. Scarlet's going to be known about. Still wins the fight though. So we're back to a 3 versus 3 with no health lost. Big for Neon Blade here, but the issue is you have to deal with a Viper's Pit.
Reyna thinking about introducing the pit, and now with all eyes fixated on the site itself, Beyblade Ninjas move even further up in towards the archives, and Elysian sprays down two. A ridiculous transfer in a 1 versus 1. Reyna excelling in these positions, but it's the raid boss on the other side that you've got to beat, and it simply can't be done. A test too mighty, and a clutch which will do wonders for Neon Blade on their defensive half.
Yeah, Say's position known generally after that engagement taken by the, I believe it was the Cypher. I mean, nonetheless, it's all up to Elysian from that point onwards to bring it back, to put it into a winnable spot, and they do it again. Has a Neon Blade's defense built on that of individual performances. I mean, Breeze, historically, we've seen it being attacker-sided because of these long lines of sight. I'm not hating it. Listen, if you can get to 4, you've got a decent position when the sides turn. That's what it's all about here. Neon Blade need to keep using these guerrilla tactics with the duelists and keep winning out these duels.
Scarlet already removing one of the tools that Beyblade Ninjas have to them in cutting out a potential mid-lurk. Frog down to 10 points of health, trying to make the entry, but it's working out because while they're so hyper-fixated on her, the rest of Beyblade Ninjas can get to work.
Well, it seems that has just about setting up the crossfires, not allowing the players to get into positions where they can take a pick, freebies here and there. I mean, that's exactly the position. Worry about Superfrog's tradability, but you've still got that advantage.
Yeah, the Swede dancing with the devil in that kind of position, but collects a little bit of information in tow, and Elysian is on the spot to try and deal some damage. Sonya's still playing around the side of this one, and while Angel can find a single kill in the mix, it's Reyna who puts her foot down and puts an end to the madness. Neon Blade conceding their first round in the last 3 played, which will net that advantage now. Pen and paper for Beyblade Ninjas.
I wonder what would have happened if Elysian who would have won that duel win towards the behind like the half wall. That would have been a big contention point. But
huge.
Nonetheless, though, Hazza, Beyblade Ninjas won it, so there's no talking about if, buts, and maybes. We're talking about definites, and definites are that Beyblade Ninjas have the advantage and look as if they're going to hit straight in towards A, but they're contacting first.
It does feel like the sole remedy that's actually proven results so far for Neon Blade on this B issue is having a little bit more going for you in mid. Huge null command strips the blaze from the hands of Scarlet, and she'll be torn on down by the protagonists themselves. Claudia gets the kill. It's another double entry for Beyblade Ninjas, and with 2 rounds left to play and not too many credits to play around with, wouldn't be surprised if Neon Blade are inclined to save from this position.
You look at towards the post plant as well, the players already looking to drop back towards main. Beyblade Ninjas playing really reserved, not setting, I was going to say not setting anybody up, but the body just sets themselves up. Makes it easy, makes it look simple, and now Neon Blade from a position where we're thinking, this is looking good, looking pretty worrisome if I'm being honest.
Yeah, looking at the finances, Neon Blade a little bit left, perhaps more in tune with the money situation than I was. Scarlet, of course, on the blades there enables the op to come into play on round number 12, but you really just wanted some kind of initial kill to open things back up. Instead, it's Claudia. Really nice underhand flash drive, simplistic play, but one which pays off for her. You know, highest rated player on the team, but not only that, she also has the highest assists in the whole tournament, 0.62 per round.
doesn't even surprise me. Super Frog's
I'm
got
so
in with
curious.
pretty much ease. I
Spike
see that
down
though. A
A.
lot of the players drop behind them, and now they're under real pressure behind. I believe what Crab, whatever it is, they make it look easy. My goodness gracious me! Super Frog comes alive at the right time. Spike planted. 3 versus 2.
Oh, it's an absolute gut punch, and the sinking feeling is starting to arrive for Neon Blade, as is Riri. Taking so long for this retake to really get into motion. Neon Blade not down and out, but certainly feeling winded towards the tail end of this defender's half.
Camera taken out.
And they've also got the op hazard. Trying to come in with an op, retake with an op is never what you like to see, and tries to get back onto the rifle. Time's already low, and with everybody looking down, and an ace from Super Frog. That's exactly what you want from your individual players, your players with the mechanical ability to fight back in from unwinnable positions. Gut punch has a, I don't even know if I'd have any wind in the sails after that.
It's a draining moment, a really draining moment, because the difference between an 8-4 and a 9-3 cannot be understated here, Cairo. This is your own map pick. You didn't get the preferential side choice, but I think we need to see a little bit more tact from Neon Blade and how they approach some of these rounds. The duelist pairing has worked out well for them, but again, it's that conversation about Beyblade Ninjas, these deep-lying defaults they were going for. Very direct once they make that decision and commit to it. Was landing 9 times out of 10. Or 9 from 12 if you want to be specific.
I wonder what we've already seen what the Beyblade Ninjas game plan is, so let's try and see what Neon Blade are up to. Still sticking as that core 5. So if anyone peeks out, easy punishment. I like that. It's a simple game plan, but sometimes can work really, really well.
Beyblade Ninjas not showing too much proactivity. They're about to begin this, and the question is, does the information on A come in soon enough before this B hit gets underway? Neon Blade on spot. The duelists trying to crack the case once again, and it's case closed as far as Liza is concerned.
Ooh.
Claudia still finds 2, and a 3v3 from this position for Beyblade Ninjas is nothing to turn your nose up at.
Claudia has done goddess's work, I should say, at this point, has it. And it's also a crunch from Beyblade's retake. So that's one thing to think about. Spike not really in a great spot to be held from.
Beyblade Ninjas trying to cause concern, but all eyes should be fixated on Reina and what she can cause from this main position. Finding at least the first, I think to the second. Sonya finishes up and the utility is there in support. Everything required of Elysian from this position, but she simply will not suffice. Beyblade Ninjas up to double digits.
I'm so impressed by the way Beyblade Ninjas play this every single time. They keep it simple, they don't do anything too crazy. Again, they wait for Reina. They're so patient when they're waiting for certain plays to be activated. And when it happens, I mean, Reina, when they're activated on the luck, their individual skill, their mechanical ability, they take the picks when it's needed. Also clearing the player, tucked all the way up at the wall, next to the box, allows the Sova to come up, tap the spike, bait out the Reina. It's simple Valorant, made to look amazing.
Simple but effective. Exactly as you put it. Neon Blade, they're aware of this position. It's a force buyout from them to try and salvage a fourth and make this one feel a little bit more doable. Yep, it's a blinded up Liza, but the Lear does nothing against her trap wires. 3 kills already with Sonya involved as well. Finding a couple each, and Beyblade Ninjas filling their boots. Force buy shut down, and that very much feels like the end of Neon Blade on this map.
It certainly does. Forcing into that, they have now left everything to the wayside, especially with Beyblade Ninjas winning it out. Not only that, though, has it, the reason why I was saying look at B, I mean, Liza was actually looking to drop out the site. They were playing so far back in CT with a, like, kind of lean more towards the A side of the map. So, realistically, I was expecting Liza just to drop out. Yeah. No, the team are just so active, so reactive and quick to fight that everything just ended up a disaster.
Again, it doesn't feel like there's too much of this extremity control from Neon Blade, so Beyblade Ninjas finger on the pulse, pretty cognizant of what is going on, and like you say, these reactionary moves have been serving them well thus far. Another brilliant set of moves from Cloudia. Makes it just look so simple, and the Bulldogs will continue to yap away. One-way traffic in this conversation, and Angel, if she wasn't dead to the snake bite, then Liza is there to finish her off. A difference of 9 rounds between the two teams, and it could grow even further before this one is said and done.
I mean, I know what we're thinking. Maps that Double Julius can play on has with a sub coming in. Surely, I'm starting to think though, split maybe a better option, something like that, because it's easier to play. Everyone knows how to play it. Breeze, the game plan that Neon Blade were going for has just not worked at all.
Yeah.
I mean, what more can we say?
Again, it's just all about harnessing their individuals if they could, and while I think it's fair to say Scarlet have had a decent run of form so far in this map, it's not quite enough when you consider everything else in amongst the mix, and just, you know, tactfully or tactically how they've tried to play this.
Wow. Even the fact that Liza's able to come in and get the extra pick. Still on the Guardian, by the way, that was from the bonus, I believe. So now they have all the information.
As well. Onto the corpse, Cloudia in hot pursuit, and while Riri will have an inkling as to what's going on, it feels as if she is simply untouchable right now. Beyblade Ninjas take to their opponent's pick and make a serious statement. Elysian, one of the best in the tournament so far, but you've got to prove your worth in this kind of scenario. And while she's good for the first, how much more is there left to be found? The Empress invested, the next duel taken and won. The dismiss into the Octo will spell out her demise. 13-3, Beyblade Ninjas take their opponent's pick in convincing fashion.
I mean, Hazza, what a way to win out your opponent's pick, and what a way to start a best of 3. If I am Neon Blade moving on to the next map, you've got to think it's a Ascent. That is a statement piece in itself. You're moving on to a map which no one has been able to get even within 6 rounds of the opponents. It is crazy.
It is crazy, and look, heading into Ascent now, one of the silver linings to take is that it wasn't the worst performance, for what it's worth, from Scarlet and Elysian as well on those duelist roles, the double duelist, but will they commit to that same metric when we come onto Ascent? We don't see it played particularly often. I think they just need to be aware of how exactly it is they can punish Beyblade Ninjas, because there are certainly gaps there, but right now it doesn't feel as if very much is being left down to chance. They're doing everything that they are expected of. When we get towards Ascent, we can discuss a little bit heavier what that playstyle ends up looking like, but even just the macro game here and what that's then going to be on Ascent as well, with the confidence that you're seeing come out from this this team, I am seriously worried for this Neon Blade side.
Yeah, exactly. Everything, I feel as if, like, looking at Beyblade Ninjas and looking at how prepared they are, that's the thing that I worry about the most, Hazza, compared to Neon Blade. They look like a fish out of water sometimes, and I don't mean to sound disrespectful in that sense. It's just like, it feels that Beyblade Ninjas were able to outclass them in that aspect.
Yeah, no, they definitely were. And like I said, I don't think we were really expecting to see Neon Blades make a run this deep into the competition.
True. Yeah.
Now that you're really being tested in terms of quality, what much more can they deliver for us? Because it has to be a reverse sweep if you want it now. Ascent and Lotus, maps which we've seen them be competent on before, but again, it's that increased level of quality which they're playing against here. Yes, they're playing with a sub, but Scarlet, you know, is no mug, and with her being the best player performance that we've seen so far for them individually, you have to try and harness that as much as possible.
Yeah, well, we'll tell you what we're going to do, Hazza. We're going to quickly harness the break that is coming up, and we'll get Twiggy back in to really break down exactly what happened on that first map and prepare for the second map. Didn't get my words out there, but we'll get the break out just now. We'll be back in 2.
Hello everybody, welcome back to the Lioness Cup, brought to you by Women in Esports. Once again, I'm here with Cairo and Hazza, and I mean, that was over incredibly quickly. I barely got enough time to get myself a cup of tea. Obviously, just recovering from a cold. I need my voice to be back. I don't have any time. I don't have any time to recover. Either way, guys, I mean, at what point did it feel like that map was too far gone for Neon Blade? I think, you know, we know already that Beyblade Ninjas are really good at attack. We know that Breeze is quite an attack-sided map, so it wasn't a massive surprise that they won on the attacker side, but it ran away from them so quickly. What happened, do you think, Cairo?
Personally, for me, when I think about how it all went out, like, wasn't worried at 9-3, wasn't worried after the pistol. It was when we saw the anti-eco come in, I felt as if there was a little bit of desperation from Neon Blade there, and when it gets answered with a flawless, what more can you say? Like, that is such an incredible feat from Beyblade Ninjas to do.
Yeah. Hazza, what do you think about that one?
Look, well, I may have predicted Neon Blade to win. That was me playing devil's advocate with the thinking cap on. Let's rewind to what I let's rewind to what I said in the desk before that game, that it would be decided on what that opening half looked like. And I think by the time we went 9-3 on the side swap, that was it, pretty much said and done. Neon Blade made a pretty ballsy pick to go into Breeze, in my opinion, there against a team like Beyblade Ninjas, and it's a gamble which didn't pay off for them. Yes, the rest of the veto looks decent, you know, equally as much for both teams, but I think you've squandered your early advantage.
Yeah, for sure. I think maybe that Breeze pick was a little bit of an excuse to go for that double duelist, obviously, a little bit more of those comfort picks. I don't think it really worked out for them. Obviously, the duelists were doing a lot of work, but they just didn't have that pushing power on attack. They didn't quite have the stopping power on defense. And the thing is, if your duelist can't kill everybody, then it's going to be a little more difficult for the rest of the team to keep up. Cairo, do you think they could have done more with what they had, or do you think there is just that little bit of a mismatch in those roles?
I mean, mismatching roles, I think it's more mismatching game plan, to be honest, Wiggy.
Yeah.
I think, like, you compare the two, like, a lot of it was, like, sending the double duelist off on their own and they're trying to get stuff done, but then you think towards what Beyblade Ninjas were doing, everything that happened, again, I see that just before we wrapped up, everything was done as a team, as a unit. If you were attacking mid, there was a flank coming through from, like, A main or B main. It's incredible how well rounded that game plan was.
Yeah. Quickly, before we head off, before we get on to the next map, what do you guys think Neon Blade can even do moving on to map 2? Obviously, their own map pick, they've been completely swept on. It's been ripped away from them. Do you think Ascent is going to be easier for them with these role switches, or what's the plan?
For me, I think Neon Blade just need to reset and find out whatever it was that was working for them to get this far in the competition. Yeah, you don't have the same lineup of players, but again, it did feel like at times in that last map, there was a real sense of uncomfortability about how Riri was playing the Cypher. It didn't feel like a role which really came naturally to her. And then that double duelist that you were speaking of, in an ideal world, you go 1-for-1, or maybe you find some kind of an advantage. It panned out best when Beyblade Ninjas were playing into that setup without really the knowledge, but as soon as they had an idea of what the sort of different facets of the map were and that they could really punish this B play a lot of the time, or at least condition it to be such and then set up accordingly, it was just like really, really well played from a sort of game plan perspective for them. Neon Blade just need to stick to whatever is working and find some kind of way to sort of turn this on its head.
Okay, well, with that wrapped up, we're going to try and get this day done as quickly as possible, apparently, or at the very least, Beyblade Ninjas, you guys are ready to move on to Ascent. I hope you have another very good time. You're doing incredibly so far. Get on with this agent select.
I love Twiggy so much.
You're doing a great job. You're doing a great job. You don't have to do it. You've got to do it.
Well, we're going to do it. And Neon Blade, they've got to do it. They've got to roll their sleeves up right now and get stuck in, because the two maps that we've got coming up, Ascent and Lotus, in my opinion, I couldn't think of two better maps for them to turn this one around, Cairo.
Hazza, it is plain vanilla Valorant, you know. This is if anything, this is the like the white bread, the Warburton's bread that's been brought out, you know. It is, everybody knows it, it's a classic, and when you put it in the toaster it gets even better. I don't know why I added that last bit.
No, I respect it. More of a Hovis man myself, and I'm liking the seeded bread as well. I don't know if you're a seeded bread fan.
Oh, poppy seeds, bro, are like the best.
100%.
Like, see, especially like out of all the bread that you can toast, poppy seeds, for whatever reason, but they're just goated, like, when it goes in a toaster. But I don't feel as if you can use, like, a Nutella or, like, a Biscoff spread on it. It has to be butter.
Yeah, no, I feel you. I'm picking up what you're putting down, and there are no poppy seeds here, hence the lack of Valorant-related conversation, because it's a scent. So the compositions pretty much go as you would expect. Plug and play for both teams, but I think it goes without saying here. Neon Blade on the defense, again, another position now where they have some advantages to work with.
Already a duel perhaps taken from short. The Jet of Scarlet looking to get aggro, but simply dealt with by putting down a smoke. I mean, Beyblade Ninjas look to tick off all the boxes when they're doing stuff.
You know, just as soon as I said how good it is exactly that that we see Neon Blade being on this defense, Beyblade Ninjas are on the attack, and this is what they were known for throughout the day. Super Frog trying to create space and has made a massive distraction. Look how far Claudia's already up into short, and she can't profit off it. Scarlet shuts it down. That's
Worrisome, Hazard. This is really worrisome, as that's both initiators off the board. How does the post plant look? What does Beyblade Ninjas look for? Because they need to get something to fight this back.
And they're going to try it. It comes in the form of a short push. Liza finds a couple, but not the round. Neon Blade get up and running early doors. Exactly the start that they would have been wagering for.
Yeah, exactly. That's 100% what you need. Winning out the pistol, getting your defensive half started, because one thing that has to be said, when Beyblade Ninjas have the momentum at their back, it feels impossible to stop. And already we're seeing their prowess on the attack, moving up, baiting in towards mid. I have to say, worried about Neon Blade and how easily they read into that, trying to fight for B.
Again, we're just going to have to keep a close eye and monitor what these rotations look like on the defender's side, because something that Super Frog's been very good at doing thus far is creating space. And you can already see them setting up for a fast A hit here. We expect the rollout over the top, and she'll go straight for it. Spectre in hand, and the A site, there is nobody there. A vacuum to be filled by player numbers, and they'll do that, bringing this to an afterplant 5v5.
Especially with the rifle or the weapons has been bought up. This is going to be an interesting post-plant advantage for Neon Blade, though.
Yeah, cheeky kill through the smoke. Sonya has fallen. No recon to try and slow things down. They're going to speed it up. The tempo change. But Angel will shut them down, and it's all Liza again. She can't do it. Neon Blade double up and shut down the force.
When it comes down to the fights, as a Beyblade, Ninjas are just not winning them at all. This is uncharacteristic. Well, you know what I'm trying to say. Uncharacteristic of them. So with that being said, Neon Blade starting to really get this ball rolling. And now for Beyblade Ninjas, they have to take the eco. You've got to do it. You've got to sit back and take that 3-0, or what should be a 3-0 with the way that the buy has occurred.
I was not expecting us, with 2 rounds played, to have already made 2 Keith Lemon references, but here we are. This one not looking too lively for Beyblade Ninjas, but this is a serious test of character for Neon Blade, because it's a round like this when you understand the financial situation of your opponent, you've got to set up accordingly, and it looks like they're happy to immediately cast their banner over B main. This has forced an early reaction from Beyblade Ninjas, though. It is another A attempt.
The confidence as well, the proactivity, everything looks good in this defense so far. That not so great. So an upgrade for Liza here, Hazard.
Players do have to cross, and it will be the spike that's dropped.
Down A.
A couple of kills, a 3 versus 2. Really struggling. Makes an absolute meal of it, and a mess as well. But Reyna is felled. Now it's a 3 versus 1. Heaven Control conceded. They already have information, and Liza will be down and out. So 3 on the board, nicely done by them. But again, a little bit concerning with some of these solo fights being taken. There's a world there with Angel's Vandal dropped and a pathway to the A site that things look a whole lot more worrisome.
Yeah. Neon Blade walking across the icy pavement and like doing the slippy thing, you know, but then managing to regain
the slippy thing.
Yeah, where you're slipping, you're like, oh, am I gonna fall? Am I not gonna fall? And then they regain their balance. There is
Trying to
one-
grab onto something,
Yeah,
right?
exactly. And then they quickly look around. Did anyone see that? But yeah, as you say, there is signs that here where you have to be worried for what Neon Blade have been putting out. I think as well though, I mean a couple of signs, maybe some anti on Ascent, that's why it's been brought out. Seems if they have an idea of Beyblade Ninjas and what they're trying to do. That's why they're trying to keep everybody working together on this defense.
Very early conditioning on this A play, so Neon Blade expectant of it. Scarlet rotates over, floats the op after the initial shot, and even though the Aldrone will spot it out, Superfrog takes the peek and gets taken down. So while the lockdown is available for the B execute, there's some utility coming in, and I'm not sure if Riri's going to be able to break this or not. We'll just have to see.
I don't think they will. They're taking off some util offline as they try to get back into sight. The smokes are up though, so that allows the players to get in pretty much safely. A couple little bits of chip damage, but you've got to be worried about those knuckles.
Neon Blade have read this really well. The rotate is there. Scarlet
Blinding.
still conscientious of a potential flank, but the paranoia burned through early. Drone already tagging out positioning. They can activate this one pretty quickly on a moment's notice.
They really can. Those bits of chip damage once again through the wall, but it's with Price has it! Winning battles, the Beyblade Ninjas win out. 2v2 though, the last of the remaining attackers move to the back of sight as the shots go out. It doesn't hit much, but see, moves them down at the right time, making it 4 and just when you think Beyblade Ninjas have everything in their pockets, they let it slip and allow Neon Blade into the site.
That is one of the rounds ever. I think both teams there will probably be a little bit unhappy with how that actually ended up unfolding. Each of them squandering opportunities at what should have been a surefire round. Neon Blade, singular player advantage, having beaten that early util trap with the paranoia coming out. We see Scarlet use her own jet smoke, a turret. They're just so unprepared for any aggression of Beyblade Ninjas fighting out of that B post plant, which is something you should really expect from this team as well. And then even to that extent, there are refrags to go around, right?
Yeah.
Say and Elysian at this point in time, the 2 remaining players on that retake, are yet to die so far in the map.
Mid, vast and empty. Well, apart from the Beyblade Ninjas.
Yeah.
As they scale up
Spinning
again.
around in the middle of the park.
They're like one of those like little like stadium things that the Beyblade Ninjas or the
Yeah.
Beyblades like fight in.
Let it rip, man. Did you ever play Beyblades when you were a kid?
Yeah, I did. I loved them. I remember like was it Bakugans as well?
Yeah, I was more of a Bakugan kid myself.
Yeah, I agreed. But
Or even Crazy Bones, if we're talking about things that don't have moving parts, quite literally just a bit of elbow grease. Beyblade Ninjas letting it rip on the A exec here. Charlotte finding the first. Scarlet finding the first? God.
That's still as bad as me.
Really is. A quick swish and flick from Say. That's Claudia taken down, and yeah, cracking the whip of these Vandals now. Making good use of the firepower they have, galvanizing the defense. 5 rounds, and it is flawless. All 5 players there. And a 5-star performance so far from Neon Blade.
If this gets to 6-0, I'm now starting to expect the timeout. I mean, honestly, expected the timeout after 4-0. We didn't get it. Eco, you're not expected to win. When does it stop for Beyblade Ninjas? When do they try and stop the bleeding? I mean, again, every single time, Neon Blade happy to leave mid completely open. This time, though,
Yeah.
they're setting the jet to op their way through it.
5 rounds, nowhere near irreversible. This is a map which Beyblade Ninjas have already lost so far in the competition. It was a 13-11 against Surrenderers in the Swiss stage. Superfrog yet to frag out. Something that we were expectant of her, and looking to try and find that kill here. Scarlet on the opposite side. Empties a couple canisters in the shorty, but it's the operator that will be prowling the sidelines now.
Yeah, look out forward. Beyblade Ninjas are playing this. Superfrog getting that pick, though, is big.
Huge, and Sonya follows up on it as well. Couple tags, couple kills. Hunter's Fury rages on down. A 3 versus 1 for Say. yet to drop so far. It has been a flawless start for her, as it has Neon Blade, and there we go. First of the kills. Now a 2 versus 1 presents itself, peeks into the stack, and Sonya shuts it down.
A must-win has been won by Beyblade. Won't be anything, I mean, there's going to be but a scratch for Neon Blade in terms of what they can reinvest with. I mean, a great round all in all. They've just went fast, they've taken Neon Blade by surprise, and they've won out.
And again, it should come as no surprise that Superfrog finding her first kill of the map directly translates to Beyblade Ninjas finding a round, because when she's been able to create that space, which you know is what we're looking for her here, not necessarily to be dropping 30, but just giving them a little bit of breathing room. Again, she's the spearhead to this attack. It's those rollouts that they were using time and time again against their opponents to just create a bit of pushback.
The only issue is with hitting this site has everybody, almost everybody from Neon Blades here. Beautiful flash from Claudia, and already they can set up this post plan.
Postage stamps on that one. Catches the stair player, and Claudia's good for more of her own goodwill. 5 versus 3.
Powers out. One enemy
Sinks the dagger in the back, and Neon Blade bleeding between the shoulder blades. Nicely done from the ninjas. That's 2 now on the board. We've got to keep tabs on this one, Cairo, because it can very quickly spiral out of control, and the tack timeout would suggest that they want exactly that not to happen.
Yeah, the emergency brakes put on by Neon Blade. Beyblade Ninjas now starting to disrespect their opponents on that regard. And again, on that last round, Neon Blade had very good ideas and read into it perfectly. How did we not see some of these ultimates?
All I'm going to say, Superfrog go kill. 1 for her and another for Beyblade Ninjas. It's, again, though, where we've got to start to see some of that counterplay coming out from Neon Blade, because it's these previous few rounds where this is the kind of the Beyblade Ninjas I was expecting to see coming into this, you know? Superfrog being at the front lines, just very direct, straightforward executes where she's dashing in and making the most of Claudia's utility. Neon Blade need to perhaps adjust some of that positioning, be aware to set up a trap play perhaps. I'm thinking A, for example, the dash that usually comes over the top onto the main peak, have someone playing anti and just get ready for it. They're going to offer that exact variation here. And look, what have Neon Blade done? What preparations have been put in place to manage this?
If I'm being honest, I feel as if like Beyblade Ninjas have realised, look, if we just go and hit the side, there's not much that can stop us. They disrespect the one way, and already the players are trying to dip out of the side because they realise what they're going up against.
It's really nice. What we see is a Paranoia come in. Superfrog still claiming the space for her own. And you look at the ultimates that Neon Blade have. Beyblade want to be a bit more aggressive here to shut down the tree control and perhaps stop the lockdown from coming in, which they do exactly. It's Liza that's going to be falling on their own end of things. And look, Saya's got uncleared from the corner. It's Riri to find the frag eventually. 3 versus 1 for Sonya, and as good as she's been, it's not good enough. That is 6 now on the board, and I must say, the timeout delivering.
Timeout did deliver. They realised exactly what they were wanting to do. I mean, you saw it, they were like decisive in exactly what was happening in terms of the Sova ult coming in. They played off the chaos. There was setups from Riri in terms of the flashes as well, Haza. Not only that, they contained short as well, or tree, so that if it did come down to it, the lockdown could be used. I mean, just generally playing off that. And you know what? Again, simple stuff. And done right, gets the maximum value.
Fundamentals. And in terms of that macro game as well, there was heavier B presence on that round from Neon Blade to shut down what Superfrog was doing. And like you say, the paranoia there, in case the A play did end up happening. Bucky this time, already Scarlet spotting quite a bit of that out. But speaking of these role swaps, we've seen quite a few different ones come through. One of them being Angel, and she's looking pretty damn good at Sentinel so far.
Yeah, definitely is. Oh, getting those picks, taking the advantages. The players of Beyblade Ninjas really worried about getting onto this A site, and no wonder.
The second facet to their attack-sided success was Liza's flanks, and she's trying to make one happen right now. Scarlet
Last player
stamps it out
standing.
though, and the dying embers reside with Sonya to stoke them into flames. Burn things down, restore order for her team
cannot
as
use
Neon
that.
Blade sit right on the edge of a 7th. A first half advantage from the defender's side, and a much needed one at that.
Also got
Scanning
to
ahead.
think, what was it? Sonya with the highest clutch percentage.
It was
There you are.
Reyna, Sonya with the highest KAST, and again she finds herself involved, but a 1-for-1. Not gonna cut it here. Throws the towel in, and that's a 7th.
Yeah, I mean the fact that Say's only died twice, and that's the 2 rounds that Beyblade Ninjas have won, again speaks volumes. The value they're getting. Also, on top of that, every single time we're seeing Angel disrespect their opponent's smoke and move into it. This time they got punished for it, but a lot of the times they've been getting value from this. Something Beyblade Ninjas need to be, maybe not worried about, but think about.
Again, you see the lockdown is available, and off of that initial A main contact, look at the reaction from Neon Blade.
Yeah.
Aware of a potential split push, they take short control for themselves. How exactly does this retake look?
Sitting in the smoke, the paranoia,
Spike planted.
and no value from it. I worry about that though, Hazza, and I worry about Super Frog being able to get one. Angel goes huge though.
Still able to find 2 kills from that position. Had the utility to stop Tree from becoming conceded either way. Elysian, all she had to do was press mouse 1. That's the advantage that they find, the narrowest of margins, but they're on the site now and they are set up to work on this defuse.
Oh, like this dude delayed the Hunter's Fury, and look at
One
that.
enemy
The peak
remaining.
from Claudia is perfect, and Reyna comes in at the right
done.
time. Beyblade Ninjas sweep that round under the carpet when it was much needed.
Brilliant work from Beyblade Ninjas. And even with the setup that
Yeah.
Neon Blade had there, I'm not too sure how they didn't end up picking that up that round. Angel, you know, wants to take the risk and go on the front foot as the Sentinel, and you know, someone filling into that role. It's not something you're going to see too often, and perhaps symptomatic of the swap that we see.
Just noticing here, look at the setup has across the map. 2
Yeah.
players, Claudia and Super Frog, who usually work in tandem, looking to go and hit B.
But we saw the exact same setup on Breeze, trying to fake some of that pressure. The Spike is following it up though, incredibly late on the return, and actually, with Super Frog down, it's a 1 versus 3 that Claudia is fighting on her lonesome. Up close in market, not hit the site just yet, and there's a smoke missing from the CT position as well.
This is where I'm starting to get a bit of anxiety about it, Hazza. This is where things start to go wrong, and it certainly has.
Just a completely mismanaged round from a sort of neutral perspective. Yeah, there's you know, always going to be a bit of hindsight about it, but that's your 8th for Neon Blaze, and now it feels as if they're out of the woods as far as this defender's side is concerned.
I'm not even gonna lie, the first plan, the fake, you know, even like Claudia just sends Super Frog in, Super Frog gets picked up, like Claudia just dips. Ace already taken. I don't know.
Not too sure what the call on that is. Whether it's like, okay, we've brought in the null command to potentially shut down a Killjoy setup. There's no utility here. Let's double down. But yeah, just so separated from one another. The spacing is, you know, god awful. And then not having that smoke for CT, you're allowing Elysian to take the fights that she wants, you know, on her own terms and conditions. And again, one of the top performing players so far in the tournament. Yeah, we're yet to see her Sova, but the initiator looking just as good. Tack timeout coming through. Beyblade Ninjas sense that something's up.
Yeah, I mean, obviously the last round, Deco probably thinking, most important, I've still got a timeout to use, just use it, settle everything. I think like after that last round and we saw how it went out, Hazza, I think it's understandable why the timeout used.
Yeah, for sure.
You know what I mean? Just make sure that everything is shored up. They have the ideas. Neon Blade have some ideas of their own. There was a couple of pings out to that B side. So something to think about. Maybe there's an idea here, especially with 3 players, the heavier side of the map stacked with players. Something to think about.
The sourest part about that last round is that it's come in for round number 11. Now that you've called the tactical timeout, how much value are you going to get in terms of adaptation and actually finding a fourth? Yeah, it's got to be a priority that you can take it, and 1 timeout per half is typically how things go, but certainly left late for Beyblade Ninjas to show something here. Potential for a second 9-3 half, and this time it would favour Neon Blade.
Already the pings that were coming through make sense. The fact that the lockdown's invested to allow the players to rotate in, the advantage taken. Now you get the return, but how much are you going to be able to buy here?
The kill from Scarlet on this operator. Smile in her name and smiling in the game. Riri finds another 4 versus 2, and while the lockdown expires, your controller is missing. Another picture
One enemy remaining.
haphazardly painted by Beyblade Ninjas, as those on the Neon side of things have been able to deal with it brilliantly. 9-3 defenders half. What a way to kick things off.
I mean, what more can realistically be said about that half? I feel as if Beyblade Ninjas just weren't up to their 100% of what we have seen, but at the same time, though, Hazza, is this Neon Blade raising their standards, and you know, Beyblade Ninjas finally having a proper match of it? I mean, how many times have we said like it's been poor from the defense when Beyblade Ninjas have done their maximum damage?
It does feel like a real mix of things right now, because those 2 players that were, you know, such valuable assets on both sides of things, Superfrog creating the space, Liza with the late lurks, individually haven't had the best performance so far, but I think a lot of that does circle back to what the game plan is. Neon Blade look very well versed in dealing with what Beyblade Ninjas were doing on the attack. I said before, at times, if you are just going for these straight hits, then those rotations called are going to be fairly simplistic.
Information gained up towards market with no one holding it from that aspect, but Neon Blade aren't worried. It's just to make sure that no one's there to punish them when they move through mid. Although Beyblade Ninjas, again, this reads perfect. I'm worried about Scarlet taking this first engagement. No flashes or anything. This is going to be a dry peak.
Sometimes you do just expect that A hit on the pistol round, and you have the dark cover coming in towards B main. Won't be challenged in this round, that's for certain. And the alarm bot in mid, keeping a little bit more on what's happening. Eyes on the prize. Scarlet nails the shot and follows up with another brilliant one as well. Beyblade Ninjas are falling apart. And it is the substitute that's doing it all for Neon Blade. In for a quad kill on the pistol round, and that tent is beckoning them now.
No more
No
silver.
way.
Hold the phone.
Surely not.
Liza gifted a couple of kills to get back in. 3 more to find, and still a test. But she has plenty of time to work with. The door is shut and the flank's coming in.
Saving Grace says it's 2 players playing together on Heaven Hazard.
Yeah, exactly that. And they can trade off of one another brilliantly. The turret not in place and the drop down a little too delayed. But Neon Blade arrived right on time. They have struck 10 rounds inside the first 13 that we've seen played here, Cairo. And you can only commend what their efforts have been so far. This has been 2 very one-sided maps. And, you know, while they'll buy a couple of sheriffs here, I don't know how much is left in the tank for Beyblade Ninjas on their own pick.
That's I mean, that's 2 maps in a row that we've got to this position, Hazard. I mean, even on the defense, forcing up here is not really an option because you don't get that extra eco from any spike plants or anything. Now, as Neon Blade sit back, they're worried that Beyblade Ninjas may have had some sort of plan. You know, a team with many plans, let's be honest.
Liza with a bit of damage. Thank you to our observers. I believe that would be Jasmine on the cinematic OBS. Just confirming the spike is in spawn, so a very non-committal round from Neon Blade. Taking a page out of our book on our desk opinions, perhaps. Superfrog is stuck in the corner though, and this is a position she'll have to commit to until the end of her life, because it has been punished by Angel, but a reveal of their own makes a quick 1-for-1.
Yes, the fact that they're able to get the shots off from behind the smoke, no punishment on that. So we're 4 apiece. Claudia with a sheriff that was dangerous. Hazard, you're seeing what I'm seeing.
And I am alley-oop up and over,
Spike
but
down.
Scarlet gets slam dunked. Claudia with another, it's 3 from her now. And when
30
do you start
seconds
to
left.
get concerned about this one for Neon Blade? Sure, there is a buffer of rounds that separate the two teams, and they're preparing for this double
shooting
peak,
gallery.
but look at the Omen utility as well.
Yeah.
Beyblade aren't going to give away these kinds of fights.
Hazard, this is a shooting gallery. Like, 4 players are just all ready to trade off one another.
Shock Dart's going to
10
take the
seconds
first.
left.
There's 10 seconds left, so fights need to be
player
won, and they
standing.
need to be won fast. Say's already got the first, and there are players presenting themselves, but too many angles to be covered at once, and that is such an impactful thrifty for Beyblade to be finding.
I mean, it can't be stated enough, like how much Claudia has won the round essentially for Neon Blade and almost resuscitated this half for them. You know, 11-3 going into a rifle round, pressure's on, you're only allowed 1 mistake. Now, Beyblade Ninjas can start to put the pressure onto Neon Blade. They're on an eco, we're looking at 10-5. Neon Blade may maybe get some doubt into them. This is what you've got to worry about.
Like you say, at this stage in the game, it was imperative that they found the round. Not quite in a position to put their money where their mouth was and commit to the force, but the Sheriffs get it done, and it's Claudia again. Scarlet forced onto one of her own, and you can see the health pool dwindling here for Neon Blade.
One
Liza
enemy
lining them up, and the rest will fall
Spike
in
down,
tow.
B.
Standard procedure on for 5, as there is nothing left here for Neon Blade.
So well fought at the back of the site, by the way. That was the KG and the Sova. The B anchors move immediately to the back site and just demolish everybody as they try to get on. I mean, what more can you ask for?
This is where you're going to see Beyblade become really efficient and come into
Yeah.
their element with these defensive rounds as well. You're already seeing, like, even on that eco, the dark cover dropped by Reyna in sight just to support those playing back site. It's these little bits of micro utility which makes such a massive difference. And even dropping back to Boathouse lets the rotation come in and makes things so much easier for them. Operator in play. The first of many hurdles that Beyblade will be delivering here if Neon Blade want to get the 3 that they need to push this to a third. Ooh.
Next up on this
Elysian pass with flying colours, and Liza will give it a damn good go, but she loses her health for it as well.
Ooh. On the other side of the map, though, it's calamitous. The fact that you've just lost out on your Omen and your KO, as this execute's not going to be great.
Neon Blade looking to recover at least some of that space. But wow, what an instinctive play from Reyna to find 2.
Yeah.
And to convert both kills on her lonesome. This could have just salvaged the round for Beyblade Ninjas, and on the defensive side as well, getting a grip to this economy, shutting down Neon Blade when they haven't been able to bring it into post. So much impact delivered. Spike getting ready, but as are the players on the defensive side, they will be here to greet them just as soon as the digits get punched in and it hits the ground.
30 seconds left.
I mean, you can see Neon Blade, they're trying to bait people out. They're
Spike
trying to get
planted.
people to go for the play, but they were waiting for the spike plant, essentially. And now that's the goal, but
And they are waiting for that 4th player in the form of Sonya to arrive on the scene. So her utility instrumental in how this one comes apart.
standing.
Elysian needs to get so much more from Main, but now it's all on Scarlet. Again, the substitute. Clean, but not quite clean enough. Sonya dispatches her and signs off on a 6th.
look, Hazard, listen, it's getting to that side now where you in your ranked games, you're like, surely it's not going to come to this.
Yeah, we had a couple messages floating around in production already. I've even seen it pop up in the chat as well. The 9-3 curse isn't real, and look, I don't buy into that kind of tomfoolery either. 9-3 curse on both sides in the maps that we've seen so far, but it's fair to say Beyblade Ninjas now on their defensive half, again with the biases that can bring, and
Yes.
you know, for a team this strong and well calculated, certainly suits them well, giving a little bit more resistance than what we saw from Neon Blades when they were fighting from a deficit.
they're making a good game of it, you know, Hazza. I can't remember, like, with respect, a map that has got me kind of salivating at the mouth at the opportunities that we're seeing.
Actually, you know what? I think it's almost poetic that you say that. Meets Cairo, one of the other teams in this
Yes.
competition. That match they had against ITCS, I think it was, you know, round about a 10-2, 9-3 half
Yeah.
that we saw. Both won out heavily through
Yeah.
their defenders' sides. And I find it crazy to say this as well, because the narrative that, you know, we've been really leaning into is that Beyblade Ninjas are better off on their attack.
Yeah. I guess it's one thing that we say that though, but has a majority of the time, Beyblade Ninjas have got such a large advantage. We haven't really got a good gauge of how they are on the defense, and now we really have to
Get
see.
out of my way.
I think, again, it does also just speak to how good the fundamentals are. And you can see Super Frog now taking peaks that maybe she wasn't earlier in the map.
Yeah.
Running high on confidence. It gets Claudia into position to cut out the lurk, and she wins the fight. 4 remaining players in towards A. It's either commit or wait it out. Either way, Beyblade Ninjas know exactly what's happening.
I mean, that's like getting the scalp out from underneath your skin, and Arena now starts to take out everything that was underneath it. My God! Like, the alcohol to a wound completely cleans out that A main position.
Tactical timeout called. You can wash away the blood, but if you don't seal the wound, then it will continue to hemorrhage. And now, for the 3 rounds that Neon Blade needed with 13 played, Beyblade only need 3 more of their own to tie this one up all square. Again, I think, you know, the little bit of micro there is Frog taking the fight in mid, Claudia following it up, winning the one, and then instead of just reassessing their options, Neon Blade goes straight for the push and walk into the stack.
Blocking sight.
Frog's got an idea, unfortunately pinged out, so the dash will have to be used if they can even get out alive.
Has to be super careful with this dash because it's difficult to get the safety. Manages it
Wow.
and doubles up as well. That is criminal from Super Frog.
Gets out for free, 2 picks, easy as that. The rest of the players are now scratching their heads. What just happened? Where is Super Frog and where is this op? They need to be scared because they're still looking about in mid and still facing up completely dry.
While Beyblade Ninjas have the proactive A main information, they're not going to be showing any more of these fights. You simply have to sit back and wait for the players to come to you. Even then, just to go back, when you have the tailwind in that mid position and you get revealed, it can be so hard to disengage just because of what the geometry looks like and sort of really tuck around the corner from being that far up. So again, the fact that Super Frog has found 2,
30 seconds
and with the
left.
alarm bot in play, this reposition towards A, well, not exactly on the money, but Beyblade Ninja's well set up from this position.
Players now have hit the go button, but again, it's the stalwarts at the back of sight. Liza and Sonia has her.
Liza revealed that they're just going to back all the way up. You can see this, a standard TQ setup.
Wow.
Super Frog just walks out the smoke. And again, gets so much done from so much less. I have no idea what Neon Blade
tech
was
still
thinking
working?
there
Double
in
check
the
it, please.
execute, but it was such a lethargic round. Again, once Super Frog comes up with a play like that in the opening phase, you are pretty stricken for options, but once more, lacking direction from this attack. Really.
It's not only that though, we're at a position now where, like, Neon Blade do not have any more timeouts. They can't press the stop button and collect themselves anymore. It's got to be ran towards the end. It's the final sprint, and so far, Neon Blade have not got themselves started again.
Trying to match the character, dash coming in, Scarlet hitting the shot. Riri is down, but not out just yet. With Say finding that kill, there should be enough space to get the core restabilized. A 5 versus 3 in effect, as long as Super Frog can't find a way back in to shut some of this down.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I was going to say the Sova out on main was another thing to think about. 3 versus 5, one of the players is low. Utility being used to get back in, that's the worrying thing. And well, there you go, there's Super Frog already getting one.
Big kill from her. Flash drive again.
Here.
It's got Beyblade Ninjas on a leash. They're being held at arm's length. Reina, what is that? A couple through the wall, but it's the lucky shots they needed to find a way back
One
in.
enemy remaining.
Still, the player in stairs could be the ace of spades, but Scarlet's dropped down and the stick on the defuse is coming in. Needed to commit to it, but Claudia pulls off, and Neon Blade finally begin to pull away. An 11th for them at long last.
Thank the Lord, Hazza. Thank the Lord that Neon Blade finally got themselves back into this. That is their second round of the second half. 2 out of 7 played so far for Neon Blade, just to kind of give you a statistic on how things look. As for that though, Beyblade Ninjas brought it excruciatingly close.
Yes.
That's one thing you have to think about. Is Neon Blade, I feel as if have got away with murder. And yeah, I mean, they're lining themselves up for an A-hit.
Being a lot more direct, this 0 point should spot quite the number of players, and that's already 3 that pops up on the HUD of the Beyblade Ninjas side. Little room for error for them now. Claudia the first line of defense, and it's a preemptive null command, which I don't think is going to get met with too much resistance. The mid-gap filled, Liza following it up. Superfrog here with the op should be good for 1. In fact, it might be none. No! Liza bails her out when the death sentence looked to be pre-written. 2 huge kills for Beyblade Ninjas on the round where they need it most.
Well, this is the thing though, the player's going to anticipate Reina being in this position. No, they're not. They're going to get completely wiped out. Again, Hazza. Again, it's the team play from Beyblade Ninjas that is the most impressive out of everything that's happened so far.
It's crazy to think as well that we could be looking at Beyblade Ninjas, you know, even having tied the scoreline up there, had Claudia committed to the defuse a couple rounds ago. You know, it's stark contrast between the two, night and day. That one flawless. And absolutely no chance that Neon Blade were to pick it up.
Cover going out.
Some great early utility. Now they're down to Sheriffs, and you're almost ushering in the 10th here for Beyblade Ninjas.
Scarlet got down mid pretty easily without contest.
Yeah, Claudia hears the cloudburst, so it draws her in to take the fight. Knows that, you know, it's just the one player in that position realistically. But Scarlet has won it out, and it's a weapon to be recovered. Now you've got to be considering Reina. She's got 2 ends of this push to deal with, and while the dark cover in short is good, it's only going to buy her time. These fights are still to be taken.
The players are exploring through the smoke. Although the big issue here, the big thorn in the side, is that Main is still in control of Beyblade Ninjas. That's going to be a real upset for when we see this retake come back in through.
Spike
Nicely
planted.
done from Reina. A game of deal or no deal, and she opens up the Omen on the opposite end. Wow. Sonya at the double. Oh my goodness. It's plays like that, and ultimates invested that should be sealing away a 10th for Beyblade Ninjas here. Neon Blade didn't come in with much, but at the very least they can have got away with baiting a whole lot out of them. Only issue being is that it doesn't count for a round, and that is something which Beyblade have been picking up quite the number of as the heat increases in the kitchen.
I mean, Hazza, I think the furnace is on maximum. I don't even know level. I don't. I don't know.
Turning it up, right?
Yeah, exactly. They're at maximum temperature. As you say though, they kind of win out of that. It's an eco. They've been able to burn out a lot of the ultimates that were brought, that Beyblade Ninjas had in reserve. So now you look towards it. What's there? You have the Hunter's Fury, which has essentially been unleashed. You have a Lockdown as well, which will have no counters. Basically, this almost should be like a 60% round for Neon Blade if they have the right plan, and that is a big if. And we know Beyblade Ninjas, and we know what they like to do.
Neon Blade should have an idea of what's going on here with the op. As soon as you hear the Aldrone come out, it's expected that the operator follows it up, and actually, Liza slightly oversteps the mark.
Yeah, it does so as well, and they got a ping onto Super Frog, so they know that the op was thinking about going to mid, so immediately put position and hit A.
Ooh. Neon Blade, I'm not sure how much I like this play. They'll have to understand that main is conceded and actually those players able to back it all the way up into the site itself. Scarlet discards all 5 blades for a singular kill. A swift 1-for-1, a lockdown invested, but feels like Neon Blade might be jumping the gun. They're fighting in front and they are winning out the fights.
Exactly, has it. The ultimates that we thought were going to be used have been used, so now it's up to Sonya and a 1 versus 4. An impossible task. Money in the pocket, so can go for this.
That she can. We'll be waiting on another 10 seconds for the recon, however, and the first fight will not even fall into her lap. Riri, a brilliant showing from her on this second map. I think, again, just a little bit more comfortability about some of these agent choices. The KO just looking like a much better fit at this point in time. 16 assists, 17 kills, and a 12th round for Neon Blade. Beyblade Ninjas still, they'll have credits as long as they're alive in this second map, but they need to find 2 to push us to overtime.
Again, that resuscitation for teams. Neon Blade needed that. At minimum, overtime guaranteed. Neon Blade begin with a more defaulty round, looking to take control of mid, and a lot of the time has it. Past couple of rounds, a lot of joy being found from short, which is, imagine why Beyblade Ninjas have changed up their setup and started to contest mid.
You don't want to get caught too far down the rabbit hole though, and Beyblade Ninjas know when enough's enough. Finally they back away. Reign of the Soul, anchor of short, and Claudia watching her back from the heavens. Spike is deep, and this is, you know, another slow round by Neon Blade. And for what it's worth, I don't think they've looked good in these positions. Much better when they're trying to set the pace themselves.
100%. I also worry though about this A setup because the players weren't actually watching things together. There wasn't a crossfire. There was opportunities for ones to be taken. Luckily enough, the setup's changed now, and this is a much better one. A lot of pings in mid though, a lot of information.
Yeah, Claudia has wrapped around.
It's activated
Instead,
Super
again,
Frog.
yeah, they're just going to try and break another one of the arms to this split. And guess what? They've guessed correctly. It's only Say here, but Say can do so much more, it seems. Claudia finds the first, and that's the spike dropped. The biggest issue about this is the objective cannot be played unless Neon Blade can find the frags in main, which they can't. Beyblade shut it down, and we're going to the full length of this map.
Yeah, and time was getting low. Sonya was waiting to play the time to come out of heaven, did so at the right time, won the fight. 12-11 Haza. How is your bottle for this last round? I mean, either you lose the full map or you get pushed to overtime. Neon Blade have done a brilliant effort of fighting their way back into this half win. Let's be honest, the momentum was firmly at the back of the defence. You now have to start to worry, do you have enough to push it over the line?
And look, we can think about overtime when it comes, but Neon Blade, again, like you say, lacking momentum and lacking the impetus to head in towards the site. Reyna spotted up high, and Scarlet shuts him down. A 5 versus 3 Super Frog, wishing on a prayer and finding at least one of them to be answered. Angel is down, and that could be all that they need to find a way back in.
No, ultimate Super Frog's looking for an opportunity. He's taking it.
Grasping it with both hands. The owl drone for a ping as well. I'm not sure Say can get out in time. She can. Restoring order a little bit more. The custodian to keep things ticking over. Both players need to beat through heaven. There's a crossfire established. Right to spam the first. Unexpected of the second or the third from Riri. 13-11 pushed all the way to the edge, but they do not falter. Neon Blade are taking us all the way.
What a way to make a series of it, Haza. That last map, I was starting to worry, are Neon Blade actually going to be able to do it? But I'm glad that they did. I'm glad that we get to see Lotus. And again, questions were asked of Beyblade Ninjas, and they did not have the answers.
No, they did not. I mean, Neon Blade, for as much as that defensive side looked great for them, the attack, I mean, left a lot to be desired. They finally found a way to recalibrate and sort of fix some of those issues that they had. I think a lot of that came down to just playing really basic Valorant, but to a high level. There were a couple of occasions where they were still getting punished and things did look a little bit sloppy, like the spike getting left behind, for example. But the same could be said about Beyblade Ninjas. You think of a couple of those rounds on their attacking half. My main merit that I can give to them, though, is the fact that they did push it so far. I think it suits them well coming into this final map, despite the fact that they would have liked to have closed it out in 2.
Yeah, I imagine they would have liked to close that out in 2, but Hazard, that is a full 24-round map played. So I can imagine these players maybe looking for a bit of a longer break, and I think that's exactly what we're going to take. A quick 5 minutes, guys, and we'll be back ready for map number 3.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Lioness Cup, brought to you by Women in Esports. And wow, what a map 2. We really thought for a moment there that we were going to be seeing a repeat of map 1 there on Breeze with, you know, Neon Blade absolutely sweeping it away from Beyblade Ninjas. Not to be this time around. They made it a close affair. But more importantly, we're finally heading to a third map on broadcast. Are you guys okay? Do you need me to call a medic? Are your heart rates, you know, back down to a nominal point?
I mean, I just about got there, but I had to lie down on the floor while listening to like whale noises. It was a good time though, and I'm even more looking forward to this third map.
I can't make the joke that I wanted to make, but
Yeah.
yeah, I don't know where you get the whale noises from, Cairo. Hope you enjoy that though. Yeah, what does a whale sound like? Can you recreate that for us?
Ho, ho, ho.
I hate this. I hate this so much. Yeah, I've recovered. I have recovered. I've had some water as well, so
That's good. Sometimes
I'm
I just
just
need to
about
leave you guys
hanging
to
on.
it. I don't.
For people, I mean, a lot of people probably know, but I give in to peer pressure quite a lot. So there you go.
Wow.
it's great.
We'll need to work on that self-esteem at some point. Either way, guys, let's talk about mental fortitude from both teams there, because there were some amazing displays of just, you know, being able to come back from the direst of circumstances. Obviously, first off, 10-3 to start things off from Neon Blade. And, I mean, you know, 3 rounds from victory. Beyblade Ninjas come back into things. I think they made it, what, 10-8 before a round was even gained back the other way. So really good stuff from them. And then just being able to close it out from Neon Blade was impressive enough as it is when it's really on the cusp. 12-11, oh sorry, not 12-11 the scoreline. Yes, no, it was. That is completely correct. That's what it was. That's, I mean, momentous from both teams. What do you think was going on in their heads? Obviously, some timeouts were called on the side of Neon Blade, not so much on the side of Beyblade Ninjas.
Yeah, I mean, Beyblade Ninjas, I think, were very much left to their own devices, and I think, like, even through the attack, we could see that. So when we moved on to the defense, I imagine, like, what the coach said just before it was finished was that, hey guys, like, we've got a defense, don't worry about it, it hasn't quite worked out. On top of that as well, we've also got to, like, think about that anti-eco that came through. If that didn't come in, I mean, I don't know where Beyblade Ninjas would be.
You
Yeah,
thinking the
okay,
same
alright,
thing?
no,
Sorry,
no,
I
sorry.
assumed it was going to go straight to you and then come back to me.
Of
It's
course.
fine.
Yeah,
I
I
should've-
think like Cairo's right in saying, you know what I mean? I think the biggest thing for Neon Blade there is the fact that they're able to see out that map because, you know, of course, if they lose it, then that's the series done and over with. That goes without saying. But it takes quite a lot to be able to turn that one around because every single one of those players would have the thought in the back of their mind, what if we let this slip? Like, what if we let this one go against a team of that quality on their map pick, no less? And I think really what they were able to do on the defenders' half to begin with, right, after losing their own map pick of Breeze in that kind of fashion was definitely very commendable. But then equally as much for Beyblade Ninjas, and again, it just starts with a player like Claudia just finding so much impact.
Okay, and before we get started on map 3 here, how important do you think on the side of Beyblade Ninjas it was to be able to get that many rounds out of that map? Just squeeze water out of a stone there, because obviously if you lose that map in the same fashion that you won the first map, you're heading into map 3, completely momentum on the other side, and you're thinking, oh, okay, it wasn't just us being better at the game, it wasn't just all of this, it's actually going to be a really tough time for us. This time, do you think they've just got enough confidence out of that final map there that they can get into this, into Lotus here, and actually bring it with a fighting chance?
Yeah, I mean, I think for me, Beyblade Ninjas, I think the amount of rounds that they were able to win can only help them. I think for Neon Blade, the way in which they won it will be so helpful for them because it's like sometimes like a tough map brings people closer together for that third, you know?
Okay, Hazza, any thoughts going into the final map? Who do you think is going to come out on top? And what do you think the mental is looking like for both teams right now?
It's going to depend on how this one starts, I think. If we get a close first half, I can very quickly see it switching up because, again, it's another map where there is that preferential side bias. Whoever begins on the attack, if you don't make the most of that opportunity, you may be left to rue it when this one is said and done.
Okay, then I think it's about time for us to get into our final map of the day. This is to decide the team that heads into the grand finals. We're going to be heading to Lotus, and it's all to play for right here, right now. Neon Blade versus Beyblade Ninjas. Take it away, guys.
Thank you, Twiggy. Oh, man. I don't even know what the conversation will be when we recuperate with them on the desk after this one. But hey, pulling out all the stops and Neon Blade doing what they needed to do on Ascent to bring us here. Lotus, the same third and final map that they saw against Alternate Attacks. Both of these teams having played 5 maps through the playoffs so far to get into this upper bracket final. Looking at the compositions, Cairo, minor differences, but major in how things play out.
100%. One double controller, one double initiator. So the Sova could perhaps prove a real counter for that Viper wall in terms of where those intel darts are placed. But on top of that, there'll be a lot more stall capability from that of Neon Blade on the defense. They'll be able to kind of combine the KJ and Viper together to stall out choke points. And let's be honest, there is quite a few on Lotus.
That there are. The last time that Beyblade Ninjas played Lotus, it was a 13-3 win against Surrenderers, which brought them to this point in time. On that map as well, you've got to be looking at Sonya's Sova and how much that was able to offer. She was more just fragging out than anything else. Claudia with 11 assists, she only picked up 6 herself, but 4 and 1 for first engagements that she was able to win. Just have to see how exactly that works from the attacking side. This is where it all begins for them here, as it did in the previous time out.
Yeah. One map to decide it all. Who goes to the grand finals and who goes to the lower brackets? Beyblade Ninjas again on the attack, Hazza. They have to make up for where they left off, or make up for the Ascent attack. And we start here on B as they slowly move in.
Beyblade Ninjas creeping up. Super Frog, the first line of attack in a pretty one-dimensional one. Liza still waiting outside of A, and Hobbit control is a given with how they've played this post plant. Nobody in position to deny. Liza
Spike
finds the
planted.
burst.
That's all the way out towards A as well as they fight up towards Plat. I don't know if this was a great idea. Well, at least still kept the advantage, Sonya being that
Last
so
player
clear to
standing.
do so. And Claudia finally putting a tin pot over the top. That's it, no way to get out. Riri has to tap the spike, beat out a fight, and unfortunately for them, that will meet the demise.
Yeah, all it ends up doing is calling for a peek on the Beyblade side. A well-engineered pistol round that we see from them. They play into B. It looks essentially straightforward, but then Liza delivering value from this A play. And it's something that we've got to pay close attention to in the following rounds, because something that Beyblade Ninjas were exceptionally good at doing before is leaving her late towards root, late towards rubble, and stopping these rotates from coming in on those B finishes.
The fact that Liza was able to allow that extra space towards A if it was needed, so important. Already contact being taken, and the fact that Liza's got those 2 picks as well. I mean, that's only going to be a consolation pick at this point.
Elysian sweeps up the Marshal from behind the smoke, but these 2 remaining Neon Blade players pretty split up from one another, and they can hear the A site crumbling. Super Frog on the offensive. In upper, the smoke fades, and perhaps we're going to see a bit of proactivity from the utility here to get on a better angle. It's just the ghost from Riri, takes one down. Another kill from her here would be huge in trying to make this bonus look a little less healthy, but it won't. Claudia picks up the pieces. That's a second now for Beyblade Ninjas.
The rifle also being rescued, so 3 of those rifles being taken into the bonus round. In fact, Hazza. Oh, come on, I got excited, Beyblade Ninjas. I thought we were going to get a force into it. No. Do you know what? I'm not even going to look at it. I'm not looking at the buy menu.
I'm so lost.
Please, please, please.
I thought I was. I don't know if you were asking me for a bit of call and response there.
Nah.
We had a message in chat earlier about the Proclaimers.
Oh, really?
Is there any chance that we could get a little da-da-da-da-da? I said it at the same time. That's like, oh,
Well, we
I
already
give up.
Yeah, well, we already see the play that's being set up here. As Say tries to delay somewhat, but the players, well, they're being vulnerable. They're not being dissuaded. And B main completely taken. But this looks to immediately go into a C play with the way that Liza's set.
In terms of options, deep A setup, Superbox straight in, looking for the fight. Scarlet takes down 2. One from the blind fire and the second greeted face to face. Neon Blade facing up against their opponents here. In this clash of steel, Liza looking to be the razor edge that can find something for them on this round, but at this point in time, it looks to be evading them. Spike out in the open and an effective 4 versus 2.
Look at the amount of players trained on B main. They know where
One enemy remaining.
Sonya is, and well, they'll finally collect it, and now they start to scratch their heads, well, where's the
30
KG?
seconds
And this is where the opportunities line up.
I think Sonya has played that one far too early for Liza to get into any kind of a position to do something. But again, it is the bonus for Beyblade Ninjas. Singular casualty on the Neon Blade side means that this defender's side of things is going to be out of harm's way. You know, they're feeling comfortable for now. The economy for both teams hasn't quite stabilized, but they have a bit in reserve to fall back upon if they need it. And Scarlet has got off to a brilliant start so far on the Duelist.
Well, as they move now into the gun round, this is what matters between the two teams.
For sure.
And as for this, it looks as if they've all lined up outside of A.
Yeah, Super Frog early closing the gap, and Riri happy to face and fight. Scarlet trading out. Neon Blade, player advantage from the A exchange. The Rolling Thunder is online for your execute if you're Beyblade Ninjas, but with this amount of time left on the clock, you know, you want to reconsider your options. I think Neon Blade will be happy to call a rotation because they've got the Killjoy set up on C.
100% agree. You've got that early information. You've also got the player advantage to play the retake on, but there's been a little bit of a misstep, I would say. Players, though, still looking for something to get the numbers even.
But on whose behalf, Cairo? Because Neon Blade, they've got the numbers for the B play. They need to try and find a way to activate off of one another. Aftershock to the corner. Liza, it is a single duel that she is given, but it's one that she wins. And with the spike not yet planted, do still have the Rolling Thunder available. They want to take these kills before they even consider playing the objective. And Liza wins it out in grand number. Lockdown sparing a little more expense than they would have hoped, but that is the gun round picked up.
Liza's had an absolute worldie there, by the way. The fact that they've realised, hey, we've got one less player, we need something here, and Liza gets it, right? Don't get me wrong, she gets it, but then continues to go forward, take more. Like, without the spike not even being planted, they understood the scenario that they were in. The players were ready to retake. That tap of the spike just baited the players out, and they collected easily.
It is so smartly played by Beyblade Ninjas. But from a Neon Blade perspective, that's just getting a little caught up in the whole thing, right? You know? Trying to take the fights before you know what the situation is. Yeah, of course, with that Rolling Thunder still in play, you have to be concerned, but now invested on A. It's a complete vacuum. There's nobody there. Beyblade get the capitalization off the back of it, but Neon Blade are ready for this retake.
That should be a pick on to, yeah, there it is, the Sky. I don't know how Super Frog's got away with that. So you've taken 2 already. You've also got a really late Frank over Liza. So it's a player advantage on site so far, Hazza, for the players of Beyblade Ninjas.
There's a bungee jump on the zip cord, and it seems like Liza is going to be cutting the rope. Empty space beneath their feet, falling all the way down. And no safety of a set of weapons to greet them there either. Arab Frost immediately causing or calling time on this one. And to be honest, I completely respect it.
Yeah.
You're 5 rounds in, you've got an eco to play around with. Coming into the next gun round, it's so imperative that Neon Blade can register.
Exactly the case. As for what's being said, I think generally everything's been played pretty decently so far. I'd just say maybe the engagements that are being taken aren't being set up right. The simple stuff like Sky flash out or whatnot, the Sky getting caught out there on towards 5 HP isn't the best either. So can't really set your duelist up for the best opportunities in that front. As for Beyblade Ninjas, they have such a raw pace, raw power to just get Super Frog into the positions that they need to. Neon Blade need to try and respect that and really go for the stall game, because that's essentially what this comp is good at on the defense, right? You've got, 2 sets of mollies and also on top of that, the raise nades.
Yeah. I think that has to be my primary concern for Neon Blades here. You're running double controller. You put a little bit more stock in what their defender side is able to do, and then onto the offense, you want to completely, you want to be able to manipulate the map with those agents, play that macro game, cast a wide net, look for picks, and make those decisive maneuvers. But when we cast our minds back to the last couple of times we've seen them on their offense, I think that's probably one of the weaker sides to their game.
100%. They've been very, I guess, head on. I guess it honestly has. If the comps were switched, it would make sense.
They look a lot better when they're playing simple Valorant, is the easiest way to put it. One indeed. And right now, that road is closed for Super Frog. She'll open it up with some satchels, but there was a roadblock or two in the way with the utility from Viper and Killjoy. Often that we see that double stack of agents, not something which Neon Blade have fully utilised on their gun rounds.
No, they're really showing a lot of respect to Beyblade Ninjas, and I understand it. I mean, they've got the util to deal with it as the spike goes down. Players are trying to take extra space, Hazard. That's going to cost them, because that's an upgrade for one of the defenders.
Well-timed paranoia, but Beyblade Ninjas can return the affair. It's a 3 versus 3 from this position, and the fuse will be expiring shortly from Super Frog, and she can't manage to muster up a kill either. Say is straight out the gates, off the ring, 3 kills, looking for a 4th, and by God, she'll get it. A quad to deny Beyblade Ninjas moving any further than 4 of their own. Neon Blade with a thrifty round.
I feel as if there was a lot of minor mistakes that added to the greater picture. For instance, taking that extra space out towards Waterfall solo, giving that rifle away, the showstopper not hitting when they needed it to, and also a little bit of a disconnected post plant. The fights were a little bit, I guess there was no crossfires established. It just all culminated in what was a disaster in the end.
It was a perfect storm for Neon Blade, because the setup for them was the C retake. They weren't looking to challenge that site. It was dump the utility. If they show presence, we can fall back and set up for it, which they did a brilliant job at finding. And that one Vandal in the hands of Seister, enough to be the ignition required to get Neon Blade on the board yet again. Still credits for both teams. Another gun round. Not taking our foot off the gas pedal here in the upper bracket final.
This is what Beyblade Ninjas are good at. Just hitting you when it matters already. Street and util hasn't hit when it needed to.
This is the double stack of utility as well, so even though they've not won all of these duels, quite a few of the Beyblade Ninjas players are getting melted. You can already see Reyna is low, and it's a 4 versus 4.
That's a guided light wasted, but C's not wasted any of those shots. Trailblazer gone as well. With the spike being down, the players are trying to fight back into this, and Liza's taking the opportunity perfectly. Sonya peeking out, finds Scarlet, and now we're in a 1 versus 1.
Sonya's got to win it out from here, and she will. Adjusts just in time to claim the skull of Riru. But that was close for comfort. I don't know if you noticed, but it was actually a team flash on the Neon Blade side that denies them from finding a little bit more. Riri flashes out of the CT smoke just as Angel was making her way through Waterfall, and that means that Reyna doesn't get punished in the corner. Only 50 points of health. The fact she's able to outlast a little bit longer, relay that information back to the remainder of the C post-plant players. such fine details, but they make all the difference.
Contact out on A. I mean, has at the same time, though, Spike was down. Just stop.
Bomb buddy out.
Even it's simple. Anyway, speaking of stopping, Scarlet doesn't want to. Fires out the wall.
What?
No way!
Spike down.
You've got to
A.
be joking. There is no chance that Scarlet gets away with 3. Beyblade Ninjas, they turn the head as the door revolves around. And it's a 4 versus 2 situation. Sure, Neon Blade would have liked the last, but they can take this one pretty convincingly. Only Reyna remains, and as good as she's been in the clutch, you do not favour her against this many players.
Blinding.
Yeah, you do not. You do not indeed, Hazard. It's unfortunate, and again, something simple as running out a door if you don't have everything set up can be an issue. And, I mean, it's Beyblade Ninjas we're talking about as well. It's a team which consistently has every minor detail thought about.
Yeah. I mean, 5 and 6 coming into that round. Scarlet started off pretty quickly, found 4 kills in the opening 3, but had been a little bit off the pace. But it's moments like that when someone of her quality can just take the timing, take initiative, take control of the round. She'll attempt to do it here as well, but that utility combo could be oh so damning. Paint shells exploding at her feet, but good for at least another of her own before finally Reyna gets a second.
Angel and Say, they don't know if they want to really fight this, and that's what, oh no, they've been forced into it. The hand has been forced, and Angel's lucky that that aftershock isn't longer.
Not overcommitting to that fight though. Of course, the aftershock changes coming in a few patches ago. Here's the Shrouded Step, and we'll need to make this clear on the close. Wow. Actually, just completely unaware, but still flicks in time. That is ridiculous, but it slams the door shut in the face of Neon Blade. Another A escapade, which has come off completely wrong for them.
Starting to stall, time slowly but surely ticking away, and you've still got nanos on the bomb that Liza hasn't procced yet. There they have it.
Last player
Now
standing.
the blue players will take the fights and collect the round. Beyblade Ninjas, I mean, you lose that fight on Reyna, that's probably curtains. The fact that they're able to even trade it out, it is incredible.
Looking at Neon Blades outside of A and the real A issue that they've been having, I don't think they've really been benefiting from being aggressive in that area of the map, honestly, Cairo, because you think of the last couple of rounds, they're either losing a player early, they're, you know, missing out on so much space, and when they're committing to it, it's just Scarlet. She's the only one getting in position, and you know, yeah, maybe you'll have someone trying to follow it up, but for the most part, it's just not worked out. A different look this time, much deeper setup with the Killjoy.
But what value are you getting from this wall? It goes up, but Beyblade Ninjas are able to disrespect it every single time. And now the players so reserved in the way that they're trying to hold this site. Sure, you've got the lockdown, but is that just going to be stalled?
Well, the lockdown's not even going to come through because this should be hitting. Sonya's Hunter's Fury makes light work of it. A reposition from Reyna off the first kill, and numbers is the big thing for Beyblade Ninjas. The player advantages that they have. Claudia thinking about the Rolling Thunder, but can hold on to it a little longer. Let that one marinate as Liza will finish off Elysian and make a quick resolve of this round.
Again, the fact that Beyblade Ninjas are getting away with that every single time, disrespecting that wall. I mean, I understand that, like, you're going up against a large majority of the Beyblade Ninjas players every single time, but you can maybe invest more rather than wasting aid out on A main. Yeah. Hold it for when you come through the wall or something. I mean,
I think
on you go.
Yeah, the biggest part about that wall is I don't want to be highly critical of it because you have to remember it does condition presence as well.
Yeah,
you're also
true,
using 100%. It on B, but yeah, maybe something a little bit more in tree. You know, they have that Killjoy set up to be interactive with, but then you're also investing the lockdown from that position. with the knowledge the Hunter's Fury's in play and then not trying to take advantage of that gap while Sonya's preoccupied. So
Yeah.
everything just looking a little bit off, I agree.
Yeah, 100%. As for this round, nothing's off at all. It's been read into perfectly, but they don't have the weaponry to back it up, as unfortunately Riri does, but the Guardian dropped already, and sight has been taken. A player up high can just narrowly avoid the smoke. It's Scarlet as well, and that peak shell's not quite stopping the plan.
I mean, positioning-wise, you felt like Neon Blade were right on the money, but so is every single one of the ninjas. 3 kills already picked up. Information on the next. It is a conveyor belt, which is fed into their crosshairs at this point in time. Super Frog for yet another, looking for her third. And Elysian is going to give it up. Not finding anything else much herself. And look, Cairo, we are at another potential 9-3 half situation. I did not think we would be here. Yeah, you can talk about side preferences on every map we've seen so far.
Yeah.
Beyblade had the advantage in the first, they didn't the second. That's the reason why Neon Blade got back into the game. But you know, I'm not holding out too much hope for what they can give us here unless they find a fourth. Really, I'm not.
I'd agree. I would 100% agree. But again, there's a lot of things to talk about. And for this round, the one thing that I want to talk about is the fact that there's a distinct possibility that we could see probably 9 or 10 ultimates, depending on how the orbs drop.
You're right. This could prove to be a melting pot of a round, and there's the first. Quick rotation coming in for Angel. We'll have to respect the lockdown. Reina taking some space of her own. Spotted, but not taken out. Elysian falls, and now you're fighting a war on 2 fronts.
Yeah, but Riri's got the trade.
Brilliant.
So that's that cutout. They can focus on the site. The players start to culminate their numbers in towards CT, but again, those ultimates to delay.
Off your feet!
The ninjas should just be playing this so reactionary. The Rolling Thunder comes in towards Waterfall, makes it a more difficult clear, and oh, what is this? Frog is pushing on up, looking to take the most of the space, but gets nothing. Left empty-handed, an unpreferential deal. Viper's Pit coming in to alleviate some of that pressure, but the spike's still not yet worked on, and utility coming out in leaps and bounds.
The effectiveness of this Hunter's Fury is going to be massive.
Brilliant combination with the stun. Claudia sets it up and Liza finishes things off. That is a 9th, and what could prove to be the end of Neon Blade come this second half, penning some kind of ridiculous turnaround.
That is absolutely insane. A lovely post plant by Neon Blade again. The amount of ultimates invested. Either side could have won it. But at the same time, the stall, the way that that Beyblade Ninjas were able to push that over the line, and again, I just mentioned it before the round was done, the fact that the time was so low, the effectiveness, you had to stick it. The Hunter's Fury did so much damage. Liza cleans it up. We now focus on the pistol. What does Neon Blade have to offer for this attack?
It's got to be everything. It has to be absolutely everything here, Cairo. You know, starts with the pistol, but my primary concern once more is that this slow-paced style just simply does not fit the Valorant they've been playing so far. It's high-octane situations where they've delivered most. And a quick set play to kick things off.
Ooh, nice stun. Nice play off the back of it. You've traded even on both sides. The only difference being that you have that Viper on the Neon Blade side.
Reina at the double, but a double isn't enough to keep C from being conceded. Nice CT control taken by Neon Blade. They've put all of their eggs in this basket, however, and it's Lisa that has to fight the 1v3.
Eliza's patient. Just when you think
Takes it slow, stun coming back in, the remainder of the push now unveiled and taken down. Brilliantly worked by Riri, 3 for her, 4 for Neon Blade, and they have begun this attacker's half just as they needed.
Yeah, and 100%. And not only that, it's the C play that came out, that got dismantled, tried to do a bit of a trap play, and in the end, it was a foot put out of place, kind of went too far. Now they're trying to make this a trap play from Beyblade Ninjas.
Yeah, Lisa there towards spawn, just, you know, trying to keep a bottle on it, make sure that don't see too many players push so the rest of the ninjas can be in effective position. Didn't work out. So you can already see, again, another trap play prepared off the contact of this alarm bot. Nobody facing, but 4 players in position to put Neon Blade in a world of pain.
You should have an idea with that Omen smoke.
Look at Reyna moving up from the flank as well. They are so aware of what's going on.
Not only that, they've been able to walk around the alarm bot. They don't know about this hazard.
Oh, worst part is also always going to be the guns from this kind of position. But Super Frog and Sonya, they make it happen and they drop the spike. Tree, the only concern at this point in time, a 3v3, but no upgrades.
Yeah, the players are low on health as well. And now it's down to a 2v3. There is those upgrades as you talk about. And Spike's down.
Yeah, I mean, it always had been, but Neon Blade, a little oversight perhaps. You've allowed Reyna to get back in with a Spectre. It's got to be huge, and it's not going to happen. That is a 5th, but one which came at a costly affair of fight. Sure, you keep most of your weapons, being rifles too, but ever so nearly got out of hand.
I think, like, the difference between Neon Blade and Beyblade is that Beyblade always feel convincing when they're playing and when they finish out these rounds, whereas Neon Blade, it almost feels like there's little oversights, as you were calling them, like little things that they don't think about that could almost snowball, but they manage to always keep it under control.
Yeah, you can already see what Beyblade Ninjas have cooked up for this defender's side, though. It's just 2 rounds played, 2 set pieces, and each and every one of them delivering at least a couple of kills. Reyna walking up this time, turret for the first contact. Beyblade Ninjas in this sort of opening 30 seconds to the round, setting themselves up and ready to react to whatever it is that Neon Blade are going to try and do, which should be this B play. At the very least, taking the orb. The spike is waiting, and I don't know how good I feel about a potential C hit if it were to happen.
I like this though. Like, I like this is the way this comp should be played from Neon Blade. The fact that they're taking it so low. You've got the Viper wall now to scale up on A with. I mean.
Also as well, you know, Reyna's just going to take that timing because they've thrown the fake smoke on C, but this is quite obviously a fake because the turret's not been hit in the moment thereafter. You've already got a flank coming in and your rotation is ready for the site here.
30 seconds left.
Still waiting for a spike to go down. The engagements though have been taken. Sonya being the one to take the most of them. Or take the main one. Now the flank's activated, players low as well, and they're just chipping away. 1 versus 1 versus 1. Time low, although Scarlet winning that duel is absolutely massive. They can't deny the spike
1
plan.
enemy remaining.
And now it's a 1v2.
Reyna only committing to the spam blade. They might line up. Scarlet's found the first. And needs the second. Playing the angles perfectly. The reposition parallel. And everything perfectly synchronized for her up until this point. 85 points of health. And in as the steps come. Lisa, what a flick. Finishes it off. Double digits eventually. Beyblade Ninjas deny a bonus.
I think it's fair to say that Liza hasn't been at the heights the past couple of maps, well, more specifically Ascent. Now moving on into Lotus, they are well in their playground. Look at that, 17 and 6.
I was worried for a moment as well that Reyna not committing to that initial spam had potentially given the chance for Scarlet to win out the round, and it looked very close. Lisa giving away all of those steps, but still accurate. 17 and 6. What a showing from her so far. Once more, though, it must be stated, Beyblade Ninjas doing absolutely everything they need to do at the beginning of the round. It sets them up for having a future in every single one of these.
Ooh. Unfortunate. Nicely played by Neon Blade to have everyone ready for that engagement. I don't know if that was a trap play or not, but if it was, played
they
to
certainly
perfection.
accounted for it, right?
Yeah.
And I think that Super Frog went a little too deep on that peak, maybe. Yeah, the stun is supportive, but unlucky.
Yeah. And I think as well, we've got to be looking at how deep this KJ setup is, what the plan is for Beyblade. It certainly looks like if you look at the flank, it's already activated. They're trying to go, but Liza instead wants to fight.
Shuts down the main choke. TP's come into the site though. First of the fight's taking Lisa, just winning absolutely everything right now. Untouchable on A. Spike in the open, spam coming through. Reyna for another of the wheels are falling off. Neon Blade need to find a way to establish a little bit more control here, and Scarlet may just have afforded it to them. Spike planted open, Heaven control there, but still down in numbers and needing to win a duel.
No initiation, there's no flashes, there's no stun, maybe an intel dart, but Sonya's going to be late, trying to go through tree.
It's looking like a double up by Say.
Not ready yet.
Sonya playing spoiler. First
player
fight
standing.
solo. Reyna wins it out. Everything on the Viper now. Looking to move around the edge of her own wall. The shot's coming in. She wins the first. Low HP is the second. But Sonya's able to best her in that regard. Claudia on for the defuse. And Beyblade on to a winner.
There we have it, 11-5. I don't think you could be under more pressure if you're Neon Blade. I mean, yeah, the pistol and anti-eco worked out, but the rifle rounds just have not been hitting the bullseye where it needs to hit. No wonder we're getting a timeout. Arifrost worried about the situation from Neon Blade. And I think we have to say, I mean, Arifrost a lot more proactive with these timeouts than that of the Beyblade Ninjas coach.
That is true. At the same time, though, you've got to consider, and this is the first time that we'll have mentioned it on the broadcast, but it remains to be an important point, the difference in experience that each of these teams will have. Every single player on the Beyblade Ninja side has been part of a competitive roster in the top level of game changers within EMEA for at least a series, right? Whereas on Neon Blade, you're really just looking at Scarlet as being that permanent fixture in the top tier. In terms of being able to make calls on the fly, it's something that they've been setting up so well with. If the coach doesn't see any issues, there's absolutely no reason to pick them up on it.
100%. What do you change here for Neon Blade, realistically, Hazza, with how they've been playing this so far?
I don't know. I think, again, you've just got to be ready to punish those kinds of overextensions that we've seen from Super Frog. Not having the best of games, and neither is Claudia, who typically you would consider to be the best performer for Beyblade Ninja so far. But look, where she doesn't chip in with those kills, she's still a 7 and 8, nearly breaking even, with 10 assists. It's this breach utility that's been the biggest difference maker.
I think for me, the one thing, Beyblade Ninja's always sticking to the plan. Even though Super Frog isn't at the heights of the kills, they're always confident enough to take these fights.
I would also like to have seen Neon Blades take extremity control towards C a little more often. You know, it's in so many default strat books that you'll see mount control established early, and they've done that. But where do they choose to go from here? Because the obvious answer would be commit to the site, but the rotation's already come in. There's a lockdown to remove player presence for at least the time being. And they will double down on this.
I like that from Liza, just trying to test the luck there, see if there was anybody moving in early. Nothing just yet. And you look at Claudia, a little bit worried about a flank coming through. They've cleared that out. So now they worry about players swinging in on sight. That's disastrous.
Reyna chains them both. Sticks a pike straight through the center. It's a stake in the heart of Neon Blade, because if you lose this round, then it seems as if your chances may just be over in this one. Riri the last remaining, and while she's good,
Right there.
might not be good enough for the 1 versus 2. First kill already picked up, flash to the site for a reposition, but you walk into the open and waiting arms of Claudia. 12 on the board. Beyblade Ninjas, it took them a while, but they are so close in touching distance now of that grand final.
There we have it, Hazza. And now, well, now on 12 and 5, what do you have left if you're Neon Blade to throw at this round? I mean, you're able to pick up 4 rifles, but how does that economy look? Well, make it 5 with a Bulldog.
Yeah.
Oh, the economy, but how does the utility look? Apologies, that's what I meant to say.
Yeah, good point. I mean, you buy into light armor, I assume, so you can at least get something else. And say, for example, we'll want both Snake Bites and the Clouds too, with the Bulldog available. You speak about all of this utility though, and I don't think they're maximizing it. All right, in terms of, you know, like taking that control. Yeah, you get C mound, but the execute is just so telegraphed. Blade Ninjas know exactly what's happening and how they can punish it. Angel going for the Vania TP, and it pays off. She's one of the elite for a reason. And look, Angel gets another. That is a golden road paved to a C plant.
Now it's all about the post plan. They've bought themselves a little bit of breathing room for this round and perhaps the next. And unfortunately for them, they've got to deal with the ultimate Sonya, who every time seems to get a pick.
She's either breaking an ult or breaking a couple players. Look at this position from Super Frog. Oh, the blind is going to make life so difficult for her, but knows all about the player positions. It's down to a 3 versus 2 from a 5v3, Cairo. I don't know how Beyblade Ninjas are managing to flip this on their head, but they are. And it's Sonya, the clutch from last time out, to try and make it happen. Scarlet, a statement piece, a staple one for Neon Blade. Even at that extent, it's a 6th. You need 6 more where that came from.
Oh, that's something to think about, Hazza. Neon Blade can buy into this, but Beyblade Ninjas cannot. Just puts a little bit of an asterisk on the future rounds, and this round specifically, this should be a 60%er, but Beyblade Ninjas, we know the plans they like to have.
It's that hero rifle from Super Frog that's got me sweating.
And the showstopper.
3 ultimates available as well, right? Like you say, find the right moment to commit them, and it's game, set, and match. Early A control, and again, Neon Blade happy to concede this. They'll move towards C, but again, they feel like a caged animal. We know that they have quality, but Beyblade Ninjas pushing them to the corner of the map exactly where they want it.
Bomb grenade out.
Again, as you say, like, it's Beyblade Ninjas setting the pace, setting how this map is being played. It's actually ended up working in favour. Look at Neon Blade and the space that they've found.
Yeah.
It all comes down to these engagements, the flank still coming through.
It's crazy though, Kara, because they're still on pistols here as well. The fact they've managed to get this much pushback. Lisa connects a couple of shots, needs more, and can't win the mirror match. 4v2. The fact that the Ninjas have even managed to get a Viper's Pit out of this round is going to be huge for them in the future. Claudia picks up 1. Don't exactly expect her to win this clutch, but she can certainly make it costly.
Nah, yeah, exactly as you say. Make it as costly as possible. The minimum amount of rifles from the team, 2 out of 5. I guess that's not a minimum, that would be 1 out of 5, but you understand what I was trying to say. Like that, a minority of rifles get through. Again, that means that maybe a few bits of utility missing, looking towards Riri, only with 650 credits left there.
I mean, I think you're going to get all the utility that you want. It's more about armor. And I don't agree with Say here not buying heavy shields. You've got 5 more rounds to win the game. If you pick up the next, you'll have enough, right? I don't think that comes into question. If she dies to a phantom bullet, you're going to be kicking yourself.
Oh, she died to Reina. Oh my god! I think you'd be kicking yourself after the start of that round. Spikes now forfeited just outside of A.
5 versus 2, Cairo, and to be honest, it has felt like one-way traffic this map so far. Even on the defensive rounds where Beyblade Ninjas don't have the artillery to really make life horrendous for Neon Blade, they've damn near made it difficult. And this is one of the biggest tests so far in the map that we'll have seen from them.
But how many times has there been... I know I'm talking about percentages a lot, but 90% rounds which look like it's going in Beyblade or going in Neon Blade's favour, that should have been over the line and wasn't. I was going to say, that's what's given them such momentum and such a narrative in our heads, and it's been Beyblade traffic.
Of course, and look, we can touch on all of those big talking points once we reach the desk, and it feels like that might be coming up ever so shortly. Frog bearing them down, but Elysian responds and retorts with a bit of brilliance of her own. The spike is still not planted and time is ticking down. You've got to kill Sonya if you want to make it to A and keep alive in the upper bracket. She can keep things enough for now. But with the Seekers out and the spike down, it is a clutch scenario that Riri has a chance in still.
Found one.
But Reyna fights it alone and wins. Statement made, Beyblade Ninjas. A performance to be proud of. 13-7, your first grand finalists of the Lioness Cup.
Yeah, Hazza, I don't think there is any surprises here with Beyblade Ninjas being the team to push us, or being the first team to make the grand finals with the way that they've played. I think generally across all series they've looked in control, they've looked the team in front, and I think we could argue it's been the case for the majority of maps here. There's an argument to be made. But yeah, a fantastic team and a fantastic series as well. Commiserations to Neon Blade.
Yeah, I think for Neon Blade, you could definitely see some of the teething issues and role swaps that they had to make for Scarlett's inclusion as the substitute to really reap the benefits of what she's able to do on the duel list. As I've said before, a top caliber player when it comes to EMEA. And again, such a bright future ahead of her, only 18 years of age. So really, I think it's important as well that Neon Blade are getting some of that experience for themselves. But I don't think that they play to their strengths there at all. And on the attacking side as well, didn't make the most of what the setup should look like. You weren't really creating enough pressure to offset Beyblade Ninjas at all. I said it when we came in right at the start of the evening that Lotus is just such a demanding map in terms of what your macro game is looking like, and it didn't seem as if they really got to grips with what those fundamentals were. A lot of the time they were just pincering in. You had such effective flanks proving to deliver time and time again. It just looked way too simplistic for Beyblade Ninjas in the end. That's not the end of Neon Blade. They will continue in the lower bracket, but I think that the challenges they face there will be just as difficult.
Oh yeah, 100%. Some of the teams down there in the lower bracket have already shown quality, have already shown exactly what they can do. I mean, I'm looking for that rematch against alternate attacks if it does come to it in the lower bracket final or the lower bracket semi-final. I always forget the stages in which they come out, but there's still a lot of Valorant to be played, and there's still a lot of Desk to be had, Hazza. We're still to welcome back Twiggy. I think we're going to take a quick 1 to 2 minute break, bring them back, and we'll get into the nitty gritty of how this best of 3 came about.
Welcome back, everyone, for the final time here at the Lioness Cup today. It's been an amazing series. It went the full distance. We didn't expect it, but it's what happened. I mean, that second map was a roller coaster, and then we got into the third map, and it was just the conclusion that we wanted. Just the conclusion, obviously, that Beyblade Ninjas wanted. They are going to go ahead into the grand finals, and in a moment, we will have an interview with one of the members of that team. But right now, Cairo Hazza, how was that for you? I mean, your hearts must be palpitating at this point, but still.
Yeah, it really was. I feel as if, like, especially after that second map, my heart never really stopped. The whale music, obviously, not working to the best of its abilities, but at the same time, Lotus wasn't everything that I hoped it would be. In the end, Beyblade Ninjas pretty much felt one-sided, and I think Hazza picked up on that in the end.
Yeah, no, I would agree with Cairo's sentiment there as well. You know, there were these crazy moments, right, and some seriously micro-specific parts delivering at times, like team flashes that can make the difference between your retake working or fluffing the lines, like 1vXs that we saw taken on the chin by both teams. But yeah, for the most part, one-way traffic, and by the time you flip the sides over as well, and it's Beyblade Ninjas on the defense, which shouldn't be the easier one of the two. I just don't think Neon Blade did themselves justice in that final map.
For sure. Do you think maybe, you know, I think I saw Lisa getting a lot of these kills on Sentinel, obviously going for a lot of, you know, plays away from the team, playing a lot of lurk. Do you think that was a big part of Beyblade Ninja's kind of attack? Because obviously, you know, the space creation from Super Frog was brilliant, but not quite as much on the kill board as in other maps. So do you think the main reason was kind of you're going for that kind of spearhead into a site, and then you're going for the kind of bait and switch?
Yeah, I think, you know, this is something that Beyblade Ninjas were always good at doing on their attack, is having a second prong to it. And you saw it right from minute one. Lisa outside of a rubble route, ready to punish the rotates when they went for the B exec. And just simple stuff like that. Having a lurker, like one player that is set to actually be in that kind of position every round, whereas Neon Blade didn't opt into it. Whether that was them not feeling confident enough to be playing through the numbers that they had in the site, or just not considering it entirely, I don't know. But again, selling themselves short, I think, in terms of how they set up so many of those attacking rounds.
Sure. Cairo, anything you notice from either of the two teams that you want to gush about for a little bit, or do you think we've covered it all?
I think we've covered it all, Twiggy, to be honest. In terms of my tactical knowledge, it can sometimes be lacking, so I'd be excited, though, to see the stats of some of these players.
Yeah, for sure. Well, we will get to take a look at those stats, and in a moment we'll take a look at the AP as well. Here we go, taking a look at both of these two teams here. Neon Blade put up, obviously, an incredibly good fight and took us to map 3. And you can see here, across the board, all of these players, Beyblade Ninjas, by far and away, do come out on top in terms of pretty much every stat.
Yeah, it's great to see some of the numbers getting thrown up here as well. Reina 50 and 39 after her previous playoff performances. Didn't have her down to be someone who was going to frag out massively, but honestly, you can just put that behind being a couple of bad maps, because we know how much quality she has, and you have to consider some of those impact on the kills as well that were coming in. Again, Claudia, 35 assists, as many assists as she had deaths, and then kills on top of that as well. Ridiculous amount of impact that she was able to deliver. On the Neon Blade side of things, I don't know if there's anything that sticks out for you, Cairo. Obviously, Scarlet did a pretty good job, but again, pretty good doesn't quite cut it against this kind of team.
Oh, yeah, exactly. I have to agree with you. Pretty good doesn't quite cut it. I think as well the impact that Riri had when they got put onto the flashes between two maps, 24 assists. I think that can't be understated enough. But yeah, I mean, all in all, and I just want to, like, again echo your thoughts between Claudia and Sonia. The fact that they got 61 assists between 3 maps, that's a guaranteed, what, like 20 kills a map between 2 players that you're giving to other people. Like, that's just crazy.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, across the board, some really great performances, and unfortunately, Neon Blade not quite getting it over the line, though you can see those performances really were there. Over all of the maps, I think, obviously, you guys had stated a couple of times over the day that you didn't expect them to quite get as far as they did. The experience compared to Beyblade Ninjas isn't quite the same, but they've done an incredibly good job, and I think definitely they're going to be one to watch out for in the lower bracket, looking for that run into the grand finals to get that revenge arc once again. But I think now we can take a look at the MVP as well. And for the second time in a row, it is going to be Claudia. Absolutely insane performance. The IGL, as I understand it here, of Beyblade Ninjas as well. The initiator doing an amazing job.
Yeah, we highlighted her as such, just being such a fantastic player, highest rated on the team, and will certainly be in with a shout for highest rated in the tournament, depending on how other results end up going in the lower bracket. And that will be something interesting to think about later as well, because that's the opponent for Neon Blade. Look, they're down, but they're not out. They showed a lot of promise. It's just about harnessing that potential, I think, really. And Claudia always been a consistent performer in her own right, chipping in every single department, a jack of all trades.
Great. I think... Oh, Kyra, no, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, yeah, completely agree.
Okay, great. I think we're about ready to have a little interview with one of our players, so we'll get her briefed on that one, get her into the voice channel in just a second. But guys, any more closing thoughts from you?
I don't think there's any more thoughts.
Great. Well, I mean, we need to fill 30 seconds somehow, so somebody needs to say something.
Sorry, no, the audio completely cut out on Discord, so
no.
it was Tiggy was talking, and then all of a sudden it's... and I don't know what's going on.
All right. No, guys, it's fine. We don't need to fill anymore. We do have our interview ready here with
nice.
Super Frog from Beyblade
Cool.
Ninjas.
Hello.
Nice to talk to you, Super Frog. How are you doing? How's it been? That game was a roller coaster.
I'm good. Thank you. It was a fun best of 3.
Great, of course. Well, you had some amazing moments, especially on Breeze, including that round 12 ace, and obviously your showstopper pretty much to end the series. Do you think that was a necessary component against a team that had such dynamic duelists as Elysian and obviously the stand-in of Scarlet, or did your teammates have your back the whole way? They were looking pretty on fire today.
Yeah, I think definitely today my teammates definitely had my back. I had like a rough series, but everyone like popped off, and like everyone on this team can aim and shoot really well. Like they're all really good individually, so everyone had each other's backs, even though I didn't like perform the best today. So it was still really fun.
Cool. Yeah, I mean, sorry.
The awkward silence. Sorry.
Yeah, no, we organised this. We actually had a conversation about how we were going to do this, and I was like, okay.
Yeah, no, I just had my like the trance. In
Wait,
my
you did
head
that on
just snapped.
purpose?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, but I was just gonna more talk like kind of retrospectively about the whole tournament, and I was wondering like how your guys' preparation has been coming into Lioness Cup, because so far what you guys have played like Ascent, Lois, Breeze, I think one other map as well off the top of my head, in the playoffs alone. Imagine plenty other in Swiss. So how is your guys kind of like map pool, the preparation coming into this one, been? Because you guys look like up to top mark.
Actually, the preparation was not like how you're describing it. Pretty much Breeze wasn't even in our map pool. We haven't even cracked it, but so we kind of winging it. And considering Claudia is such a experienced IGL, and she can pretty much IGL any map like this in this kind of tournament just off her head. I think it worked out no matter what our map pool is or the preparation, because this is just a mixed team for the tournament. And I think even with like little prac and not much preparation, we did pretty good.
A map that you guys did struggle to perform on, and I think it's only fair that we mention Ascent. Your attack usually was a real strong suit of how you guys were playing. You were a main component of that, being the entry, creating a lot of space. Things didn't really work out well for you on your side of choice. You tried to get back into the game later on the defense, and it was really close in the end. But what do you think exactly went wrong? Was there a slight change in game plan there, or just things not quite working out?
I mean, yeah, I think definitely they played a bit different than we had expected. For example, like they were playing very far back. They weren't really playing sites, so I couldn't really find entries on sites. They were playing, a lot of retakes, a lot of really deep in their spawn, and like giving up the sites pretty free. So I think it kind of caught us a bit off guard. and we lost quite a lot of rounds on attack, so it was hard to come back on defense for sure, even though we'd had a pretty good defense and a lot of good rounds.
Right, well, the easy question to finish, don't worry. You're into the grand finals already, and you get a break tomorrow to watch the teams you could be up against in the grand finals. So how are you and the team feeling going into that? Do you think you're going to take it all the way?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I'm really excited, so we're all really excited to play, and it's fun having off-season tournaments, especially in EMEA Game Changers, because it's not very common, so it's fun.
Okay, great. Well, thank you for talking to us, Superfrog. It's been an amazing time, and of course, you have played amazingly, you and the team. So best
Thank you.
of luck in 2 days' time. Go off and celebrate. I hope you have a fun night.
You too.
Okay, see you in a bit. All right. So, guys, I mean, what an amazing day of esports there, and I mean, wow. What a series. Finally, we got a 3-mapper here today, and I couldn't be happier about that anymore. I asked you it earlier as a filler, but any more closing thoughts heading into, obviously, tomorrow we're going to see 2 lower bracket games. What are we thinking there? I'm just waiting. I think we do have the 2 results, which I will update everyone on after I talk to you for a second here. So, yes, what are you guys thinking going into tomorrow?
I think my closing statements coming into tomorrow is one for the grand finalist. Beyblade are the full picture. The duelist, it doesn't matter if the duelist and the kind of star initiator isn't performing, the rest of the team can help out, and whoever comes up against them, and it has to be noted, at a disadvantage in the veto, will need to be fully prepared for the machine that they will be coming up against.
Haza?
Again, it just shows the quality that Beyblade Ninjas have. If that's a map that's not in their pool, then there really is no limit to the potential of this team, even if they are just a mix. I think something that you sort of have to consider as well is that they changed the game plan. Maybe they had the read a little bit wrong on Ascent, but you only win that out by 2 rounds, and it's the only map that you end up taking in any kind of fashion, let alone a convincing one. So big target on their backs. They are the team to beat coming into the grand finals.
For sure. Well, opening up the matches tomorrow, we are going to be starting, as I believe, with Surrenderers versus Alternate Attacks Ruby, the 2 winners from those. Oh no, actually no, never mind. It's overtime. On the I was looking at it a second ago, and it was 12 rounds to Alternate Attacks Ruby. But I think, well, hold on. We could literally just wait 1 minute 20. Hold on, I'm getting it in my ear. Yes, like literally right now. It is Meats that have won against Alternate Attacks Ruby. So it is going to be Surrenderers versus Meats there in our first game tomorrow. And the winner of that will be playing up against our losers from today, obviously, Neon Blade. So, I mean, it's going to be an incredibly exciting game tomorrow. And then the winner of all of that goes up into the grand finals once again against Beyblade Ninjas, which is going to be in and of itself an incredibly exciting game. So that's all from us today. I'm sure you guys have had enough of talking for one day. I obviously with my cold, you know, I'm dying out here as well. So we will call it a day here on this one. Thank you all for joining us once again. It has been lovely to have you here. And this is us signing out. Goodbye. See you all tomorrow.
See you tomorrow. Bye-bye.